Yo, listen up, here's the story about a little guy that lives in a blue world. And all day and all night and everything he sees is just blue. Like him, inside and outside. Blue his house with a blue little window and a blue Corvette. And everything is blue for him and himself and everybody around. Cause he ain't got nobody to listen. I'm blue, I've been deed, I've been died, 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 I've been deed, I've been died. I'm blue, I've been deed, I've been died, 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 I've been deed, I've been died.
Hello and welcome to episode 200. Oh shit! What the fuck? You blow my ears out.
So it was a release of pain. 200 episodes of pain.
Holy shit! My sound canceller just blew out. Okay, apologies for that. Yeah, welcome to episode.
We are not liable for any speaker loss incurred due to the listening of this program.
No.
Now edit that in beforehand and we're covered.
We don't do replacement eardrums either.
Fucking hell!
Turned out nice to get anti motherfucker.
Hey. Jim's ukulele into the ville. Right. Anyway, welcome everyone to episode 200 of the Blackdog podcast. Who thought we'd make it that far? Well, certainly not without a hearing anyway. Thanks, Darren.
That's all right.
Cheers, mate.
Make sure we're all awake, that's all.
Yeah, all right. I'll do that to you about 11 o'clock at night.
Oh, I go. When I go. That's it.
Yeah, I figured that.
Still shutters come down on the ears and stuff.
Right. Anyway, I'm Lee.
And I'm Darren.
And I'm Jim.
Yay! And our fourth chair, who was supposed to be here for this episode, is away playing bingo. So that might give some of you a clue as to who it might be, and others you'll be no better off now than you were 10 minutes ago. Bingo! So yeah, when he finally finishes his sort of like board game marathon around the world, he'll be on board for the next episode.
Two Little Ducks, 97.
Yeah, two little boys, Rolf Harris.
Two fat ladies just walked in.
Nice. Anyway, cup of tea. So anyway, 200 episodes, and yes, now we're going to do some news, we're going to do some chat, we're going to have a Profanasaurus, a shitty superhero, and then on to the marvellous, wonderful, glorious world of Avatar. The first film in Blackdog history to be reviewed twice. Once when we saw it 5 years ago, and now as a shit-covered god.
Oh, it's the second film.
What's the first?
What's his name? The Phantom Menace. So we did that. We did that originally in 2D, and then we did it in 3D.
Oh God. Okay. Well, fucking hell.
Because you know we're going to get a pedant writing in.
A pedant.
Actually,
Who? A pedant.
A pedant.
What the fuck is a pedant? What the fuck is a pedant?
A pedantic person.
A pedant.
A pedant, that's it, yes. Or a peasant.
Fucking hell. This is going to be a long night, ladies and gentlemen. Please sit down, pull up a comfy chair. By the way, I have to say, anyone who's on Stitcher, I know how long you listen for now. We've got stats.
We can see what you're doing.
So
it into your webcam.
Yeah, we'll try and make this as fast as possible for the Stitcher listeners. That's all I can say. So, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, 200 episodes, and thank you all for getting this far. And now, over to our usual regular spot of what happened to everyone this week. And so, let's start with Jim. How was your week, sir?
Fairly quiet, as I'd cleared all my books. I was ready for a fun bank holiday weekend. I got up Sunday, and my head started aching, and it turned into a migraine. So most of Sunday was actually spent lying down in the dark, doing nothing, which wasn't nearly as fun as it sounds.
Sounds likely after watching Avatar.
Got up Monday and felt equally bad. I got a horrible sinus infection. And then today, when I had to go back to work, I actually felt well enough not to pull a sickie. Darn it.
Oh, shit.
That's annoying. But other than that, did get the weekend with a good start. Went to see X-Men Days of Future Past.
Mm-hmm.
More on that later, listeners.
Yes, because Darren's seen it as well. I haven't seen it, so there won't be a spoiler version.
No.
But I'm sure you two will just talk around me like some old man.
Like you never were here in the first place.
Like the family talking around a dying old relative.
Yeah.
There you go. Go and carry on.
Should we have him put to SLEEP?
Go on, Jim. Carry on. Ignore him.
Send him to the farm. Also, I caught up with an old friend of mine who very kindly braved his dangerous spare room, which is full of old tatty paperback novels, to dig out his copy of the bumper bargain 2-for-1 novelisation of both Flash Gordon and Hawk the Slayer.
Nice.
I got the Flash Gordon one indoors.
Oh.
The Sam J. Jones one, yeah?
Yes, that's the one. Yep. This is
the
classic chapter title, Flash Bites the Big One.
Yes.
Chapter 7, true fact.
Nice.
But the novelisation of Hawk the Slayer is as fun as the film.
That's damning with faint praise there, Jim. I'll be honest with you.
This is deathless prose, this. Marauding bands of vicious men moved from one source of food to another like plagues of murdering locusts, feeding on the subservient or the weak.
Nice.
That's quality, that is.
Sounds like the
You don't get that from your Martin Amis, do you?
Can I just have a second while I gather my blown mind?
It sounds like it's describing the sort of the average sort of like bargain queue at Lidl. To be honest. But anyway, carry on, Jim. Sorry.
So I'm having great fun reading this again. It has lots of stuff that isn't in the film, as it came direct from the script. So all the things they couldn't afford, hurrah!
Nice.
And background information. So that's great. I was very, very pleased with that. I'm greatly enjoying reading that. Other than that, I also caught up with The Last Exorcism 2.
Which is kind of a weird naming.
So, is it a tautology or is it an oxymoron?
I think it's an oxymoron.
That's verging dangerously close to my review. Now, the first one was a found footage movie.
Yep.
Which I quite enjoyed. This one isn't found footage. And at first I thought, well, okay, bold move. But, some nice cinematography, and it's kind of, okay, telling a different sort of story, different sort of way. And, has some creepy moments in it, and it's well crafted, it's well put together. But the trouble is, it could just be any old movie about spooky, ghosty, possession-y sort of things. There's not really much in the way of connective tissue or sense tying it to the first.
Nice.
And in the end, although it's well done, it is just kind of like chills by numbers. And I was just it started well, and I had hope, this could be really interesting. And then it goes, oh, it's not though, is it? Shame. It does have a really good final scene. Actually, I thought, oh, that's really good. It's really well done. Really striking imagery. But it's just it's just a shame. It's just a lot of old bollocks, really.
Right, the ending's better than
if
the
you
ending
enjoyed
for
The Last
first
Exorcism, don't watch the sequel.
Oh.
Just don't give in to that completist gene that propelled me to click, select when going through Amazon Prime. Just don't do it.
No.
Just watch something else instead. watch The Borderlands. That's much better.
Yes. Well, certainly don't watch Avatar. But anyway, moving on. So, cool. Darren, how's your week?
My week, I actually did some stuff.
Did you?
Yes, apart from going to see X-Men, of course, which we will discuss a little bit later.
Well, you discuss it now if you like, because now you both said you've seen it.
Oh,
so.
okay. You're right with that, Jim? You want to do that?
Yeah, can do. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just sit here with my fingers in my ears. But
No,
go on,
it's
carry
all right,
on.
I'm not going to give anything away.
Go on.
I'll say this. I enjoyed it, but not as much as everyone else seemed to. And I sat there. I've been thinking about why this is, and I think it has something to do with Bryan Singer and the way he does X-Men. I'm not sure. I think it might be, but I've got to say, if you go and see this film, and you kind of, you link in X-Men 1, X-Men 2, Wolverine, and everything, all the other, apart from X3, because Bryan Singer doesn't count that, even though he shows bits of that in there, right? He kind of does link it in. It doesn't work, okay? Doesn't work at all. If you forget all those movies and you just say First Class is where this new phase begins, then it works beautifully.
Right.
Okay, because it's... I mean,
there are continuity errors if you look at the entire canon.
Yeah, just a bit. It's like, okay, so let me get this straight. Okay,
careful now, spoiler zone.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen this, right? You've seen how far back the Sentinels go in the trailer. Okay.
Yes.
So why didn't we see them in X1, X2, Wolverine, X3?
You did see him in X3.
No, you didn't see him in X3. You saw the head of a robot. He looks nothing like the Sentinel.
You saw the head of an actual Sentinel in the Danger Room.
In the comic books, yeah, but this isn't the comic book. This is the film version. So you didn't see that. So as far as I'm concerned, it don't count, right? Because that's not what they look like.
Just because it ain't what they look like, don't mean to say it ain't it.
Well, why would they show something that isn't the Sentinel?
James Bond doesn't look like he did back in the 60s, but he's still James Bond.
Sorry.
Well, I think it is only a fleeting... You see them in the Danger Room, and I think in X2, you see a blueprint on a screen in Stryker's computer lair.
That's right, before the big showdown with Lady Deathstrike.
Right, okay, so take the first film, okay? You've got the Sentinels. Where were they at the Statue of Liberty? What are you going to do? You're going to send in soldiers to it, or are you going to send in your big robots that are mutant-proof? Right?
No, because that's the whole point. They didn't get commissioned.
No, they no, but in their history they did.
Okay.
That's before everything gets changed. But
do you know what? I'm not going to argue this because I haven't seen this film. So just because I'm sure there's either something in it or I don't care.
Yeah.
Either way, go on, carry on.
So if you look at those, it's like also, what happens to certain characters in X3. So that's just been wiped out completely because
thank God.
Suddenly they're there.
I genuinely couldn't give a shit if X3 fell down a massive hole, and one day we'll do it.
Yeah, we probably will. But for a film that Bryan Singer doesn't count as canon, he certainly uses bits of it as reference and stuff for this. So
okay.
But yeah, as I say, if you discount all of the other movies apart from First Class, then X-Men, Days of Future Past works.
Right.
Okay. Because you're not relying on anything that's been before, and it just so happens they've got the same actors playing the same roles who played them in the other films in this. If you just count it like that, you can't go wrong.
Okay. But
yeah, I'd go along with that. I mean, I think it's I don't think it's as good as First Class.
No.
You can tell Singer's back in the chair. On the upside, he has upped his game in directing action sequences from the first two X films.
Well, that's a start.
Which if you go back to them now, they do look very kind of there's a bit of lack of sort of super duper action there. Whereas this, he has the budget and he has the chops to pull it off. But kind of where I felt it wasn't as deft as Matthew Vaughn is, it doesn't quite have the same deftness of the period touch of bringing the X-Men into the 70s to life. It does pretty well, but it was just missing something.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's I would say overall it is very worth seeing. It's very entertaining, but prepare to have niggles.
By the way, can I just say also
acid flashback?
Yeah,
go on.
The one thing that we all feared for this film, which was one character,
Quicksilver, who looks like a toss,
for me is the best thing in it. Just
I really like Quicksilver as well.
His centerpiece, his whole sort of, this is what Quicksilver can do. It's brilliant. I was laughing all the way through it. I really was.
Yeah.
It's really well done. I'm not going to say anything more. Just go see it.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Well, I mean, I will be seeing it. I'll probably be seeing it next week, or at least once I get my work done, which is going to be the 5th of never, by the way this is going. But anyway, yeah, the only thing looking at it, and maybe you can answer this before we move on, is that in First Class, which was only on last week, it feels like a 60s movie's updated. So it's got that sort of 60s Austin Powers camp stuff going on. In this one, obviously it's set in the 70s, but the Sentinels look like they've fallen straight out of an Apple store. So,
well, you'll notice. There's one thing I've noticed that I don't think anybody else has mentioned.
Yeah.
It's not a big spoiler. It's just a piece of attire that somebody's wearing. Quicksilver, has a Walkman on, and it's like
in the 70s.
In the 70s, and not just any Walkman. We're talking about Walkman with those like you've got those ear covers you slip behind your ears, the big things that should have a metal bar going ahead. He's got those.
Nice,
and it's like.
He's got some Beats by Dr. Dre.
Exactly.
He's shooting around, is he? Nice.
So,
okay. Well, so basically, they're not paying as much attention and love to the time period.
I really wish it had been the last guy that had done
Matthew Vaughn.
Matthew Vaughn. I think he truly knows how to make an X-Men film.
Yeah.
Bryan Singer. It just feels like, I don't know. It's like with him, it's like thinking, right, okay, I'm going to eat this Twix bar and finding out it's got the mass of a small star. You know, it's kind of...
What? How's that? What? It's Welcome to Analogy Corner with Darren. What the fuck?
I don't know. Whereas the way he directed them, he got on with it and things flowed along nicely. It's like wading a bit through treacle with this. With the scenes, it just feels a bit. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a couple of, without giving spoilers, there's one thing in particular which I think we get told 4 times, and it's like, yes, we get it. Yes, we get it. Yes, we get it. Brian, could you actually just shown us this?
Yes,
that'd be more exciting, Brian.
Yeah. Okay. Can I just go back to the analogy about small stars and Twixes?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Well, whereas it should be light and fluffy, it's not. It's, I don't know, it just feels a bit bogged down. You know, the actual way the scene flows for most of these. I just don't like Bryan Singer directing X-Men movies. I really don't. I can't watch his
Next
X-Men
week, ladies
series.
and gentlemen, X-Men 1.
Yeah, I no, please.
No.
Not, and we can avoid X-Men 2 as well. I did those. I don't need to watch them ever again. That's it. So there's that. But anyway, apart from the X-Men,
yes,
I went to see.
Yes.
I did go to a convention this week. I went to MCM. At, where was it? It's in London anyway. The Excel Centre. That's it. Yeah, with Andy Placides.
Yeah.
And I went in normal clobber, and he got dressed up in his judge gear.
Uniform, yeah.
And as we're walking around, he got stopped every 10 foot for a photograph.
Nice.
I mean, it was great. It was like it's like that look of, this is why I bought the thing in the first place.
Now, you know what?
Yeah.
Now you know how I felt back in the 80s walking down Lewisham High Street with you.
Oh, I wish it was photographs every 10 seconds.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Fat Dumpy Bloke, and you, Mr. Suave, with your fucking rolled up sleeves and your little Fu Manchu moustache walking down the street. I felt...
Don't knock the Fu Manchu moustache. Obviously, the Fu Manchu moustache was... I was working that Fu Manchu moustache.
You were working it. Yeah, you were working it.
Thank you very much.
But it's just like being the fat dumpy one on the side that everyone just sort of looks at while they're talking to you. Like, oh, you've brought your pet monkey. Yeah, now you know how I feel. 40 years later.
Apu, fetch me a bottle of Coke.
Yeah, put the fez on him. Make him dance.
So, yeah, that was enjoyable. But I've got to say, I mean, I like looking at cosplayers on Facebook and stuff like this, but I went to this convention.
Easy.
I went to this convention, right?
Yeah.
And I've got to say, amongst the female cosplayers, the female cosplayers, there was an awful lot of, shall we say, jelly on show. a lot of
Shelf jelly.
A lot of shelf jelly on show.
Was the milkshake bringing all the boys to the yard?
It was, but sometimes quite inappropriately, because it's like, you shouldn't be having an outfit like that at your age and having it make it look like that at your age. I'm not joking. It was... Yeah, it was very uncomfortable. it was like, I can't, it's like, oh, your costume's, I can't take a photograph of that. I'm a 45-year-old bloke.
Staring at an 18-year-old girl dressed as Harley Quinn.
Or, Poison Ivy draping themselves all over one another and stuff.
Oh.
And there was it one girl who was dressed as Angela from The Spawn, whose costume was fantastic, but it was like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm sure somebody else has taken photographs. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, good.
So how long did you have to just sit there at the table, waiting for your coffee to cool down?
No, I honestly, I just moved on quickly. No, I'm not doing this. I'm gone.
Move along quickly. Everything to see here. Move along quickly.
Yeah. The day after that, I went to the V&A, the Victorian Albert Museum with Laura.
Okay.
And we did the thing in there. It was like, it's very nice, very historical. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to, when we got out of there, we went for lunch. And when we finished lunch, I was looking, I was standing around waiting for her. I was looking at Facebook. And I'm trying to get the app to post some stuff on there. I'm trying to cut and paste. And I move out of the way of everybody, go and stand by the side. And I notice there's this family who's kind of bunching in, right? Because it's starting to rain a little bit. And it's like they're getting a bit too close. I'm thinking, please fuck off, go away.
Why?
Because they were just getting a little bit, it was just like, a little bit, you're invading my fucking space.
Right,
now.
Okay.
Anyway, I finished doing it, and I'm like, ha, done, you bastard. And Laura went, you didn't see you were standing next to, did you?
No.
Like, standing next to who? She went, Rich Hall, the comedian. Yeah, you were stood right next to him, you twat. Really?
Fucking Captain Oblivious.
Exactly. I think he got a bit of material from his wife though, because she comes storming out of Boots going, the queues in there are pathetic. There was one person standing at the chemist. And he's like, there was one person. Yeah. That's pathetic. And then he just wandered off.
Oh, right.
It's like, he's going to get an entire act out of that now.
Yeah, a bit like you just did.
Yes. So there we go. That was my week.
So your week, yeah?
Yes.
Cool, nice. And, my week, well, not a lot really. I've been basically panicking and doing this work, which suddenly has got the deadlines foisted upon me. But now to render a frame, which is not very interesting for most people, but if anyone out there is into 3D, one single frame is currently taking me 2 hours and 20 minutes to render, so that's really causing me a bit of a heartburn. Otherwise, went to Legoland.
You did?
Yes, went to Legoland. Went round Legoland with the kids on Friday. And got fucking rained on by the rain god for the entire length of time that we were there. And then when I got in the car to drive home, brilliant sunshine in my eyes while I drove around the M25 in a traffic jam for 3 hours.
Lovely.
Otherwise, it's been nothing in my life.
Not hurt yourself
I didn't hurt myself. No. I didn't set fire to myself.
Didn't you get a phone call from like the local A&E going,
no.
So what's the matter?
Yeah, where are you? Yeah. We just want to check you're
still alive. Are we not
alive.
talking now?
Yeah, no.
Got off us.
Local ambulance just knock on the door just to make sure I'm still alive. If I open the door, they're like, oh, thank God. And just carry on.
Was it something we said?
we had your favourite cakes and everything. Even that little blue plaster you like. No,
it's not you. It's me.
No. Like I say, the most eventful thing in my life this week has been watching Avatar, and you will work out how uneventful my life has been simply by what will come up next. But anyway, so there you go. So unfortunately, I'm afraid for our 200th episode, I didn't even lop off a leg. I should have done something. I should have...
Didn't even do the head in the bell jar thing.
No, I did not do that. I think I got myself in situations where I thought I was going to die, and nothing happened. I put my head in the dishwasher trying to clean it out and clean rice out of it. Nothing. All I got was a wet hand. It's nothing. I got nothing to report. It's a disaster.
Didn't even try rewiring the bath or something.
No. Didn't try any
Rewiring the
didn't
bath.
get yeah, exactly. It didn't even try watering the light bulbs. Nothing. Not a thing.
Oh shit, you're boring.
I am boring.
So no dedication to the cause there at all?
No, none at all. 200 episodes, I would have thought I would have done something at least fairly permanent, like setting my hair on fire, taking a Niki Lauda shampoo. Yeah, Mr. Wolf. So I didn't. So I'm afraid I'm terribly sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I've done nothing. I've done fuck all. Sweet Fanny fucking Adams. Well, I've done lots, but you just none of it's very interesting, to be honest. Had a bit of a wank. Google myself. That's about it.
Then Google myself while having a wank.
Well, yeah, exactly. Looked up a photo. Bought something on eBay, which is bound to get me conned. Because I bought something on eBay.
What was it? Was it a box for a puzzle or something?
No. I'm slowly building up, as I'm sure you can see here, Dal.
Yes.
I'm slowly building up the little statues and collectibles for my man cave.
They had shitloads of these at the convention.
By the way, no one knows what you're talking about.
No.
Yeah. The little pop, big bobble-heady characters.
Yeah.
I've got about 6 of them so far. And I'm just trying to make a collection. So I actually bid on one character on eBay, which isn't a pop character. It's like a Japanese statue version of a character. And where the statue should have cost 70 quid, I got it for 30 on eBay. Ooh. That's as exciting as my week got. I haven't heard anything back from this guy, even though I paid for it. So maybe next week I'll be sitting there going, come on, send it. But at the moment, I don't know.
Wait till that empty box turns up.
I tell you, if that empty box turns up, this guy's got his actual address on this thing, and he's not that far away from me. I can drive around there and lamp him. It's not that far away.
I don't think it'll be empty, Jim. I think it'll be a lawnmower.
It'll contain that.
This doesn't look like it did on the photograph.
It's a toaster.
Exactly.
But yeah. Other than that, I can't even talk about the stuff I talked about because that's quite off-putting as well. So yes, let's get on with some news.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
We examine these mysteries to determine, are they bullshit or not?
Right, okay, well, let's get the big one out the way, which is Edgar Wright has pulled out of Ant Man. There's no news.
Just in time.
There's no news of whether or not he went in dry or used lube. No. But yes, apparently Edgar Wright and Marvel have gone their separate ways, and it depends on whether or not you believe Latino Review, who have supposedly got the big lowdown on the whole skinny of the whole thing, which is essentially Disney fucking him over and him taking far too long to get this film off the ground. Interestingly, a lot of people are sort of going, oh no, this is the end of all humanity. This is the end of Marvel. This is corporate shenanigans. Oh, they're part of the man now and all this sort of thing. And then what happened was...
They were always part of the man.
Exactly. And then straight after it... sorry, I'm just going to adjust your microphone just slightly. There you go. Pop you in the nose with it. No, but then also what happened was Drew Goddard, who was working on the Daredevil TV series for Netflix, he left and was replaced by Stephen DeKnight. Stephen DeKnight did Buffy and Angel and all this kind of stuff. And Drew Goddard left, but it turned out he left because he was already signed up to do Sinister Six. So what's the problem? But it was all seen as this, Marvel are the man. And it's just like, give over. I mean,
no.
I'm sorry, but if you're a director and you're doing a Marvel product, you're doing a film which is not just your film, it's a film that sits within a continuity now, a film that sits within a universe. You can't turn up at a Star Wars film and suddenly go, I'm going to make it a raucous rapping comedy. Rap battles.
Rat battles.
Rat battles.
Rat battles.
Careful now.
Rat battles.
Yeah. Darth Vader. Darth Vader with sup on his hat.
Oh, fucking hell.
And chewed. Anyway. Yeah, exactly.
Fuck you, Mum. Fuck you, Mum.
I find your lack of rhyming biting. But anyway, so the fact that Edgar Wright's been sitting on Ant Man for close on 8 years, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, they've now kicked him off and he's left, and it's like, oh, and then he posted up some passive aggressive shit with a picture on Twitter with was it Buster Keaton holding a cornetto, and a lot of people read into that, and it was immediately taken down. But a lot of people looked into that and said, "Oh, he put up Buster Keaton because Buster Keaton did a deal with the devil with MGM, and all of his work and everything that he ever did got signed over to them, and they even stopped him from doing his own stunts. So, and it was the worst decision that Keaton apparently ever made." And it was the one that he lamented when he finally retired. And so a lot of people are saying, oh, Edgar Wright sees himself as Buster Keaton. And all of this stuff just seems
that explains that Joss Whedon photograph.
Yeah, with the cornetto and all that sort of stuff. And everyone seems to be in this kind of like, massive furore that this is, that Marvel has suddenly gone from being some wild and crazy place which will allow creative freedom to suddenly becoming a corporate industry company.
Hold on, I've just
trying to
checked
make
watch.
money.
Let's see, how long did it take?
What, the backlash?
Yeah, it took a few years, but it got there in the end.
Yeah, it got there in the end. And the thing that gets me is I think that the big problem here, and I'll let someone else speak in a minute, but I'm on a roll. But the thing is,
I've got the knife. I speak.
Yes, I have the speaking pillow. Now, but the thing is, the problem really is that it's Edgar Wright, and it's a fanboy favourite. It's a touchstone, and it's something which everyone was looking forward to, regardless of whether or not it was Marvel. And now he's left. That's become a problem. The fact that Drew Goddard left, and everyone went, oh, and then suddenly Stephen DeKnight from Buffy and Angel and various other things suddenly turned up, and they were like, oh, we're all right then, fair enough, it's all cool. Just goes to illustrate the point that basically, if someone other than Wright was on Ant Man and he'd left and they got someone else on, no one would have given a shit.
Yeah.
And now someone else can have the speaking pillow.
Thank you.
What does anyone else think about this?
Jim, would you like the speaking pillow?
Yes, please.
You can have the speaking pillow.
Have the speaking pillow, Jim.
Well, to me, this was like no real surprise because it's kind of Wright's Ant Man has been in the works for a long time. They were talking about Edgar Wright's Ant Man before the whole Avengers initiative kicked off.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was kind of like, well, it's kind of, is this going to fit? Doing a one-off Ant Man movie on its own, and Edgar Wright, fine. But then Edgar Wright doing an Ant Man movie in this universe they've established?
Yeah.
Just not quite the same fit anymore.
No.
And I mean, I do wonder whether it's just, he's actually not been working on this for quite a while. It's only been announced now because they finally just, untangled the contracts.
Yeah.
Because, that's the other thing that, fans never appreciate is that, this is a business. People have these long contracts and kind of, directors often have these projects that they're contracted to do. They don't actually come to anything for various reasons, you know. It's one of those, it's not the end of the world. It doesn't mean Marvel have sold out and gone all commercial and heavy. But, we do live in a world where people now are prejudging films on the basis of seeing the logo. And, I think a lot of fans should, just get out of the house a bit more and stop being twats. Level with you there,
Nice. Well, there you go. And that's the news, everybody. Thanks very much and good night. Go on, Darryl. What are you going to say? Anything?
Well, I think I'm inclined to agree with what Jim just said there about, it's like Marvel have got all these other directors and do things like Captain America, Winter Soldier, big films and that, and then they bring in Edgar Wright. Now, admittedly, he's done a few films in his time, very successful and all that, but how would he work in this sort of environment where he's got to take notice of every other film that's going on around him in that series?
Exactly.
And play ball with that. I don't know. Maybe he could have done good. Maybe not. But then again, the new person they're bringing in to take over, who knows? Maybe he might actually score a masterpiece with this.
Well, exactly. I mean, it's like, they had... they took someone off of Thor Dark World and replaced them with Alan Taylor. And Thor Dark World's fine. Yeah. But again, that completely misses it. Everyone just sailed on past everyone. The news just went completely out of the way because no one gave a shit who was doing Thor 2 and then didn't know who the hell Alan Taylor was in the first place. So it's just like, it's just the fanboy knee-jerk reaction thing that really, it's just like, right, so if it wasn't Edgar Wright and it was Joe Smith from down the street, you would not have given a crap. You would have gone, right, fine, who we got next? Especially seeing not so much as even a frame has been fucking filmed. I mean, that test reel was from like 4 years ago when you see him disappearing and shrinking and growing.
Well, this is it. I mean, so he was working on Ant Man, or was in development before the whole Avengers thing got rolling in any serious way. Yeah. And, it's kind of, I think, it's one of those things. It was developed and kicked around, and then the goalposts have probably changed several times as the Marvel project's gone on. And if there is any acrimony, I can see it might be a case of Edgar Wright going, "All right, look, I'm just done." To get somebody fresh in, I'm just,
Yeah, I've had enough of this.
I've had enough of this backwards and forwards, toing and froing. I mean, it's one of those, 5-10 years time when someone writes the big definitive vault guide to the Avengers franchise, we'll find out what went on. But, but until then, it's kind of, it's just, that's Hollywood. It happens. Calm down.
Yeah.
It's only Ant Man, for God's sake.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not even like a Z-list player, is it? On other news, Gareth Edwards, director of Godzilla. Now you see him, now you don't. Sorry. Director of Godzilla has been given the job of directing a Star Wars spin-off, which has been confirmed. No idea what the spin-off movie is going to be, and he's also confirmed for Godzilla 2 and 3. So he's going to be a busy boy.
Well, I've seen a couple of pictures of Boba Fett next to the articles. Not they're saying that, that's what he's going to do.
Yeah, that's fan wank, I'm afraid. And even so, you'd probably only see the silhouette of Boba Fett for the first half of the movie. Sorry. That's just me. So, and I guess, Jim, you're probably more up for him getting on with Godzilla rather than pissing around with Star Wars.
Well, it's one of those things, I mean, I'm very Star Wars fatigued, I must admit. I mean, you know what I mean? I'm kind of just open-mouthed at some of the idiocy coming out of fan receptacles that passes a mouth. The Extended Universe isn't canon anymore. That's it.
Yeah.
What? And that dancing game wasn't? What's wrong with you people? I actually kind of... having reflected on it, I'm actually more interested in these standalone movies than the actual Part 7.
Yeah.
Because Part 7, it's adding to an existing saga. The first 3 parts are cack, let's face it. Episode 4 is good. Episode 5 is brilliant. Episode 6, I've not seen this before. Could be better. Let's be honest.
And let's be honest, we'll see it again before the end of the evening.
Yeah, well,
sorry.
And that's fraught with difficulties. You know what I mean? Whereas actually having some sort of self-contained stories happening in the Star Wars universe is potentially quite interesting. In the right hands, we could get a very good Star Wars movie out of this that isn't part of the saga, and play in that universe. That could work really well. They might be better than the 3 sequels that are coming.
Yeah.
Good luck to him. I just hope it's not Boba Fett because I have similar reservations.
Yeah.
He looks good, but
he looks good, but he has a personality of a doorstop.
Mm-hmm.
The last piece of news is that Carrie Fisher, speaking of Star Wars, got told that she had to lose, before she could even come on the set, she'd had to lose like 12 pounds in weight before she was allowed to play Princess Leia.
Really?
Yep. So there you go.
I wonder how that went down.
like the hamburger she was eating when she took the call. No. So that's that. Apparently she's done it, and so obviously she's on the cast. But yeah, I think they were trying. They're going. I think they're going for the alluring MILF look.
Right, because you know, I mean, they're both playing. I mean, she's going to be playing someone of her own age. Of she's not trying to play someone who's younger. That is it. It's.
No. She's going to be playing Princess Leia, age 30.
Oh yeah, fuck off.
Sorry, I just wanted to see.
Yeah, sure. Good luck with that. So it's like, does it really matter what that she has to lose 12 pounds? I would have thought it would have had a little bit of realism to it, but whatever.
Well, there you go. I don't know. I mean, I've got nothing really to
Maybe
add
she has
to
to be
it.
back on the GAC to deliver a performance.
Yeah, maybe she should get the old Coke shovel out.
Grow the coke nail.
Grow the Coke nail, lose the weight. It's gonna be like Pam from Archer. She's just gonna be like face down in like a big pile of cocaine, going meow 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 bear claw meow 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 meow, until she loses the required weight and keeps the bust. Meow 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 bear claw. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch Archer. It's very good. And that's it. That's it for the news. All feels a bit anticlimactic, really. Oh, God. I think, finally, episode 200, I think we've finally given up. I think the steam has gone.
Yep.
Just you left, Jim. You just got to carry on. When the fourth chair comes back from bingo, you can get on.
When he stopped bingoing mad.
Bingo.
Oh, when Foxy releases him.
Yeah.
I understand the sinister underworld figure, Mr. Fox, is running UK bingo now.
Yeah, well, when that happens, carry on without us. We're like the first generation. We were like the booster rocket. Got it up as 200, and now we're dead. That's it. Everyone else carry on. Blackdog name. Game over. Right. Well, no, we'll carry on. No, we must carry on. When we will carry on with this spectacular piece of paper.
Where have all the heroes gone? We're left with all the knobs. I just want one Superman and not this bunch of slobs. Not a single one of them could take on Mr. Freeze. They're so lightweight they could get blown away in a stiff breeze. The shitty heroes, the Spanish costumes are just a little bit too tight. They're not very cool and they're not very fast, and they're most likely die in a fight. It's shitty heroes. Just one look at these dudes and you know they ain't right. Marvel DC doesn't mean much to me because they are a total shite. Hulk smash!
Puny launch singer.
Right, okay, shitty superheroes for episode 200. Well, for episode 200, I thought I'd go behind the scenes to all those ones that I couldn't quite find enough details for. So, ladies and gentlemen, for your delectation and delight, and for you, Darren, and for you, Jim, we have a couple of shitty superheroes which I couldn't find any extra info for, but nevertheless got on the list. So we'll start off with Spaceopoly Lad.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Spaceopoly Lad is a young hero from the 31st century. He has the ability to start and finish every game of Spaceopoly he ever encounters.
Does he collect 200 quid?
Yeah, he looks like an intergalactic aardvark.
Right.
And that's his power. He can finish a game of Monopoly. Any game of Monopoly that he starts, he has to finish.
Really?
So, yeah, Spaceopoly Lad. He featured in Legion.
What the fuck?
I don't know.
Oh, that's fucking retirement home for lamos.
Yeah,
Legion of Superheroes.
Legion of Superheroes, episode 49.
He's commissioning this shit.
I don't know, but there he is. Just give you the first one there. There he is.
There's not even like a big wiki on him.
No, they couldn't bring up anything apart from the description. You've just clicked on another fucking thing, you idiot.
Go back.
Just imagine an armadillo. Don't do that. You'll click on the wrong one. You'll see the others.
Oh, you get it back for
it's
me.
all gone Pete Tongs. So much professional fucking twat. Right. There you go. There you go. Seeing. There you go. There he is. There he is. Touch the sides. There you go.
Right. He's an armadillo. Yeah.
That's it.
He's an armadillo.
He can finish a game of Spaceopoly.
Oh.
That's his power.
Fuck off.
Right. So that's the first one.
What do you mean there's more?
Yeah. I've gone. These are all the ones I couldn't find the details for.
What's the other one? Is he can't finish a game of Snakes and Ladders? Is that it?
No. Next one.
He has trouble getting together for a game of Buckaroo or something.
No. He featured for 3 issues in DC's Super Friends #1, The Fury of the Super Foes, and he is called Sardine. Sardine is a junior member of the Super Foes and apprentice to the human flying fish. He has absolutely no powers whatsoever. He has absolutely no powers whatsoever and wears a bright yellow costume with a fin on the head.
The human flying fish.
Yeah.
I laugh. I bet took in a bowl of water.
There you go.
Again, I was just saying, what a cunt.
Christ.
I'm sorry.
He looks like a sperm.
He does. Yeah.
He's been giving a golden shell by the looks of it there.
Yeah, so there you go. And then I did some more research and I couldn't find any more. So I then looked for, hold on, I've got another couple here. I'll actually give you one which I've actually got all the details for. This one featured in Image Comics' Savage Dragon. And, yeah. And he was known as Backfire.
His psychic follow through.
Well, his powers are Backfire possesses incredible flatulence which allows him to fire compressed gas beams as well as allow him to fly. During the gang war, various factions competing for the leadership of the Vicious Circle. One such group was the Body Function, a collection of misfits led by Cesspool, who we've had on before, who was a human living shit. And
sorry, the Vicious Circle.
Yeah, the Vicious Circle. Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So yeah, and he basically was a member of the Vicious Circle, and yeah. A group affiliation Body Function.
And as they left, they became the ever-decreasing circle.
Yeah. The only distinguishing features are a massive arse and no pupils. Apparently.
It's a lot of failed teachers, that, isn't it?
Oh, we haven't finished yet. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. We are.
Oh, gee.
No,
hell.
no, I've got a load of them here. I've got a load of them.
I've just Googled Backfire Savage Dragon. My screen is full of shit from that wretched comic. I think everyone in it should be in the league of shitty superheroes.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And
she brought us Heavy Flow as well.
Yep, that's it.
Oh, God.
Well, how about this one? This is the last one for this week. Policy Pam. Policy Pam is a superhero insurance salesman from the 31st century, and she has the power to sell any type of insurance policy to anyone, and compulsively does so with most people she meets. Policy Pam is a meta-human with the ability to sell any type of insurance to anyone. She trained under former Legionnaire Polar Boy, and worked with Matter Eater Lad, one of the earliest of shitty superheroes. Yeah, and essentially her only power is to sell insurance. Darren's speechless because he's got a mouthful of pizza and just trying to choke himself to death with it, I think.
Christ almighty.
Yeah, so there's Policy Pam. Hold on, I might go for one more, see if I can find one more.
I've just clicked from Policy Pam to Evilo, who she tangled with.
Yep.
Who looks mutated. Like,
yeah. This one might be a good one. This is another one I didn't have much in the way of details for. The Sack. The Sack is has an interdimensional sack filled with creatures in it.
I bet he does.
Yeah.
The shut up line, isn't it?
Yeah. The Sack wears a titanium glove to pull the creatures out of the sack. That's his power. And Sack ran into Deadpool while robbing a bank. The Sack is sickened by his otherworldly creatures in his bag. Threw them on his mercenary, but they couldn't eat him. After they returned to the sack, Deadpool attacked the sack and threw the sack over the thief's head. The sack was eaten by his own creatures. The nature and the details of the creatures in the sack is unrevealed.
So he was given the sack.
By the sack. Which ate him, presumably.
After he tried emptying his sack.
Yeah, he tried
all over Deadpool.
And he didn't get rid. There you go. So his powers are none. He just has a sack full of interdimensional creatures.
Right.
So there you go. Yeah, again. Actually, I've got one more. I'm going to do this one because this one's really funny. This one is a genuine hero. This one featured in Green Lantern. And he's a Green Lantern of Space Sector 1014, and his name is Chip. Chip is a Green Lantern squirrel. Yes. A Green Lantern squirrel who turned up in Green Lantern Mosaic number 2, Nuts. He has all the powers of the Green Lantern, which is all fine and dandy, and so therefore he is a genuine superhero. The thing that makes him a shitty superhero was towards the end of his life, Chip became depressed and tried to kill himself. However, old friend Lantern Sarlacc showed up and in time to stop him. Yeah, Sarlacc. Yeah, sorry. Anyway, then when Chip spent some time in hibernation, when he awoke from hibernation, where he was stationed on the Mosaic world, he suddenly walked out in a sleepy daze and was killed by a yellow truck which ran him over. And even better than that, he came back as a zombie in the series Blackest Night.
Did he?
He came back as a zombie Black Lantern. So there you go. There you go. A mega epic 200th episode shitty superhero. And if anybody has any other shitty superheroes,
don't send them in.
Send them in to blackdog@geekplanetonline.com. Hopefully someone enjoyed it out there. We did do a poll of various people to see what shitty superheroes went down well. Long Dong and the guy with the 20-foot long penis that he used to beat people to death with, and Dog Welder invariably came up.
Dog Welder is very popular.
Very popular. Squirrel Girl, Heavy Flow, the woman who can fire menstruation blood out at high speed.
God,
she featured in the poll quite highly as well.
Yeah, so thanks, Savage Dragon.
Yeah, thanks, Savage Dragon. So yeah, and one of our regular listeners, Mick Bartz, keeps correcting me, saying that these characters aren't shit. Such as
in what universe aren't they shit?
Including like the pillow guy. I can't remember his name now. Ted the Pillow or whatever his face was. But apparently he was quite a cool character. All I know is he's a fucking pillow.
It was a cushion.
It was a cushion. That's right. Yeah. But anyway,
Harry the Cushion.
Harry the Cushion. That's it. And of course, was it Badger, Mr. Rob Spry also reminded me of Danny the Street, who also is apparently a very cool character, even though he was a transsexual street. I don't know. I don't know how these could be cool characters. They're a fucking no. Anyway, so
Danny the Street makes sense in the context of Doom Patrol.
Yes.
In the Grant Morrison run, it's part of the surrealism.
Yeah, but as a superhero that you would actively follow in a spin-off comic, can't see it somehow.
No,
maybe in a real estate magazine. I don't know.
Yeah, Acorn Estate Agents presents Daddy the Street. The transsexual street coming to a street near you, or not. Anyway, so yes, if anyone has any shitty superheroes, send them into blackdog@geekplanetonline.com, and I'll inflict more upon the world as we go on. And I will be putting all this lot together as an ebook. Hopefully with pictures of Darren's face to accompany each one.
It's going to be like a flicker book.
Yeah, it's like shock and awe. It's going to be called. But anyway, so let's move on. And before we go on to Avatar, our film for this week, and Darren falls asleep through pizza sweats, because we have been drinking wine over here as well. A rather cheeky Oyster Bay New Zealand Chardonnay, if anyone must know.
We've had one glass.
Oyster Bay, I think that's in the Profanasaurus.
Yeah, Oyster Bay. Oh dear, no. Well, yes, okay, fine. Right, so before we get on with that, let's go. Before we go down that route, Jim, what do you have as a Profanasaurus for us
I
this
do
week?
indeed.
Yes.
Oyster Bay. No. Feeling like Smurfette. Raise. Derived from that well-known phenomena that there is actually only one female Smurf, this phrase refers to that terrible feeling you get when you heavily suspect that everyone you meet just wants to shaft you.
Nice. Very good indeed. And you know what? Probably quite right. And you know what? I don't think we ever got to the bottom of the fact that Smurfs don't have any genitals. So how do we have a female Smurf?
Have you checked? I mean, they don't.
My brother had a full collection of those Smurfs that you could get from the old BP station. No, the Shell station.
Well, maybe they've got like the ability to retract it all. It drops down like a belly gun on a B-52 or something like that, you know.
Is this going to be this week's Dave Zip Zap rap? I mean, are we going to actually spend more time worrying about Smurfs than talking about Avatar?
Let's invoke the law of Zip Zap.
The Zip Zap rap law of
Dave.
Law of Dave. Anyway, no, let's move on. Let's get on to this week's.
The first rule of Zip Zap rap is you don't talk about Zip Zap rap.
Zip Zap Zippity Zap Zop. Don't do drugs, kids. No, let's not do that again. Moving on. So let's.
I'm sure the first rule of Zip Zap rap is rip zippity zap 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 zwap. But might be misremembering that.
Oh, thank you for listening, everybody. Good night. Anyway, let's move on to fucking Avatar.
Hello, guys, I heard you sent some feedback, but I cannot download it because my PC's crashed. What did you write? Oh, I just can't wait to read. Was the film so very bad it made your eyeballs bleed? Made your eyeballs bleed. Made your eyeballs bleed. Was the film so very bad it made your eyeballs bleed? Just a second, what's this crappy movie in my hand? It's a tragic balls up and it really should be banned. If I see it, I don't know what it will do to me. Maybe I'll view it while off my tits on LSD. Stop watching, I can't take this film anymore. She covered the goggles are just making my eyes sore. Stop watching, I can't take this film anymore. She said the goggles are just making my eyes sore. Eject the disc. Someone eject the disc. Eject the disc. Have mercy. Eject the disc. Someone eject the disc. Eject the damn disc. Well, I may just croak cause the remote's broke, so I can't even hit the stop button. And I crap for list cause the film is a mess, and I can't even hit the stop button. Well, I may just croak cause the remote's broke, so I can't even hit the stop button. And I crap for list cause the film is a mess, and I can't even hit the stop button.
We're sorry. The podcast you were trying to download is not available at this time. Please check with your provider or try the link again.
Right, Avatar.
Lotar.
Good night, everyone. No. Right. Avatar, directed by James Cameron, written by James Cameron, produced by James Cameron. This is like the fucking Room. Tommy Wiseau's in every bit.
Starring James Cameron.
Starring Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana, Stephen Lang, Michelle Rodriguez, Sigourney Weaver. Music by James Horner, and edited by James Cameron.
I'm sensing a pattern here.
Yeah. Running time, 162 minutes, or 171 minutes on the re-release, or 178 on the extended collector's edition. Joy. The budget was $237 million, plus another $9 million with re-release costs, and it made at the box office $2.782 billion.
Billion?
Billion. Christ all fucking mighty. In 1994, James Cameron wrote an 80-page treatment of Avatar, drawing inspiration from, and I quote, every single science fiction book he had ever read in his childhood, as well as adventure novels by Edgar Rice Burroughs and H. Rider Haggard. In 1996, Cameron announced after completing Titanic he would be filming Avatar, which would make use of synthetic or computer-generated actors. The project would cost $100 million and involve 6 actors in leading roles who appear to be real but do not actually exist in the physical world. Visual Effects house Digital Domain, with whom Cameron had a partnership, joined the project, which was supposed to begin production in 1997 for a 1999 release. However, Cameron felt that the technology had not caught up with the story and the vision he intended to tell, and he decided to concentrate on making documentaries and refining the technology over a few extra years. It was revealed in Bloomberg's Business Week in a cover story that 20th Century Fox had fronted $10 million to Cameron to film a proof-of-concept clip for Avatar, which we would show to Fox in October 2005. In February 2006, Cameron revealed that his project, 880, was a retooled version of Avatar, a film that he'd tried to make years earlier, citing the technological advances used in the creation of computer-generated characters Gollum, King Kong, and Davy Jones. Cameron had chosen Avatar over his other project, which was Battle Angel Alita, after completing 5-day camera tests the previous year. In January to April 2006, Cameron worked on the script, developing a culture for the film's aliens, the Na'vi. Their language was also created by Dr. Paul Fromer, a linguist at USC. The Na'vi language had a lexicon of 1,000 words, and 30 were added by Cameron. God almighty.
Pie,
yeah,
chips,
yeah. They employed various botanists from the University of California. From 2005 to 2007, Cameron worked with a handful of designers, including illustrator Wayne Barlow and renowned concept artist Judith Schnell, to shape and design a Na'vi. And they would often work in Cameron's kitchen in Malibu home using ZBrush. Then James Cameron started working in February 2007 with Stan Winston to continue the production design on the flora and fauna of Pandora. And then Cameron went on and spent a lot more money in 2006 for Reality Camera System, whereby he could carry a camera and the film would be rendered for him in real time in his camera lens while doing the motion capture. There was lots of other stuff going on. Jesus Christ almighty, this goes on for hours. Estimates put the cost of the film eventually at $280 to $310 million to produce, and an estimated $150 million additional for marketing, noting that about $30 million in tax credits would lessen the financial impact on the studio and the financiers. A studio spokesman said that the budget of $237 million with $150 million for promotion was the end of the story, which is just ridiculous for a film that they hadn't really got any idea. There's lots of development stuff, lots of filming. Obviously, they used these virtual camera systems, which is like a big, powerful game engine. Cameron gave fellow directors Steven Spielberg and Peter Jackson a chance to test the technology. Spielberg said, "I'd like to think of it as digital makeup." And the motion capture was used later on in Tintin. Can't really talk about much more because it goes on for years and years and years about the size of the square feet and everything. Fucking hell, it goes on for hours. Okay, you know what? Fuck it. Avatar. We all know what it's about. We know they made it in the computer. Thanks very much, Darren. What did you think of Avatar?
The thing that kept my interest through the entire run of this film was the same thing that kept my interest last time. And that's watching the one computer-generated character that they spent all the money on, which, of course, was Zoe Saldana's character.
Yeah.
Because it's just amazing the expression, the range of expression in that face and the subtlety. The sort of just the little small creases around the eyes when she gets angry and stuff like this. Fantastic. The other ones look like they really haven't had as much care taken about them. I don't know, there's just something about them that's not quite right. The world of Pandora itself, absolutely stunning. Really is. It's, you know, they did an incredible job on the look of the world, shall we say. I'm trying to find some good stuff about it. You know, as you can probably tell, that scraping sound is going to start appearing in a minute. I get the impression that had they taken out at least an hour's worth of film from this, then I don't think it would get such a harsh treatment. I know it's a rehash of, you know, certain science fiction movies, but then again, well, you know, a lot of films are guilty of that these days. You just seem to notice it a lot more in this. I think it's because it is so long. I actually did turn to Laura last night, who was, you know, she said, haha, you've got to watch it. And she sat there playing on a fucking tablet all night. And I said to her, is it me, or does it seem like 3 weeks ago when I first pressed play on the play? And incidentally, I should also mention that my Blu-ray player steadfastly refused to play this. It might have been something to do with the way the delivery system on which I actually received the disc, which was basically, this is it, right? Okay, I'm in my living room. I'm minding my own business, playing my Xbox. And there's a doorbell goes, right? And I think, oh, that must be Lee bringing round Avatar. I walk out to the door. I open the door and I almost get my head taken off by this flying fucking Blu-ray. Just comes out of nowhere.
I threw it at you and ran for the car.
Are you watching Dark Angel with Dolph Lundgren?
It's like a deft precision.
No, Jim, I literally, as soon as he opened the door, I just threw it at him and just ran. I just ran for the car and just got in.
I didn't even get a Sarah Connor or anything like that.
See, that's where the Terminator went wrong. Don't ask, just fucking do it.
So, so I got that lobbed at me.
Yeah, I did nearly take your head off.
Yes.
I have to apologise.
Yes,
for
you
that.
did.
I'm very sorry.
But I tried playing the Blu-ray in my Blu-ray player, and the thing kept coming up as unknown disc. Right? I tried the DVD in my Blu-ray player; it kept coming up as unknown disc. So I had to play it in my Xbox, and that plays any old shit anyway. So you know, why should Avatar be any different?
Good night, everyone.
Yeah, good night, everyone. Good night, everyone.
Sleep well. Don't have nightmares.
Yeah. I did Avatar. I don't need to do it again now. That's it. We've done it. Yeah. Jim?
Get him out of it, Jim.
Right
Please,
then.
please, carry on.
Go for it.
Yeah, this might go on for some time.
Okay.
I'm going to go and
As
get
I-
a drink. I need some supplies for this.
Well, I need filling some background because I remember when I think with Avatar there's I remember when it came out, or before it came out, people were going on and on and on about it like it's going to be the second coming of bloody Christ.
I wonder who that could be. Who,
Yeah.
who would keep on going on about it
I
week
don't
after
know.
week?
I don't know.
Yeah, 16 episodes. I think.
Well, but yeah, it was kind of those like it was getting to the point where kind of there were even articles among the sort of the film and sort of geek press going, "Hey, they're not really pushing Avatar enough." And it's kind of, you lot aren't shut up about it for the last 6 months. I'm sick to death of it. I've not even seen a frame of it yet. And then when it came out, all these people suddenly rounded on it, and it's kind of, well, I'm not sure what you were expecting because you were talking bullshit. I saw the trailer, and I really didn't like the trailer. I was very, very unimpressed. I was going, I've heard all this, it's an alien world, it's going to blow your mind. And I'm going, well, this is just Roger Dean.
Yeah.
And ironically, Roger Dean later sued. However, I gave it a fair go. I went to see it in IMAX in 3D because that's what Cameron shot it for. And actually, with no expectations, I actually sort of quite enjoyed it. Yes, it is a very generic storyline. I know what he was going for. He was trying to do the thing that Star Wars did. Of you take all these archetypes and you make something that's mythic. However, James Cameron just didn't have enough sparkle to what the storyline and the characters to actually make it mythic, and he just leveled out at generic. But it's kind of as it goes. I mean, a big thing of the Avatar backlash is people had this idea that James Cameron was some kind of sci-fi god, which is something I've always rebelled against. Kind of like, come on, the Abyss, for Christ's sake, went out without the last act. Terminator 2, it's got some cool bits in it, but it's a mess.
Yep.
It's two good films that his reputation, rests on. I mean, Terminator, that's thanks to Harlan Ellison. And Aliens, is building on Ridley Scott established. Now, in fairness, I think Avatar, although the story is paper thin and very generic, at least it does actually go from A to B to C to D. It takes a hell of a long time getting there.
Yeah.
But he is going for epic, and in IMAX, it's kind of, I still think this is the best use of 3D we've seen. I mean, I went to see it twice in IMAX because going around at the time, this was the start of the 3D thing, and I honestly thought that this was going to be a flash in the pan, like 3D had been originally in the 50s, like it was in its 80s, and I thought I'll never get to see something like this again. I went again. I enjoyed it a second time. I mean, I didn't think, it's the most amazing film ever. But, as a cinematic experience with the 3D, the panoramas, the beautiful landscapes, brilliant. There were things that irk, like the thin storyline, but I could let it go on a super epic big screen.
Yeah.
And as much as I enjoyed those two cinema-going experiences, I've never wanted to go back and see it on TV because to me it'd be kind of like, well, it's like going on a roller coaster, then someone showing you a video of being on the roller coaster. It's not quite the same when it's not like 50 foot in front of you, fully immersive.
Yeah.
So I was very trepidatious going into this. I mean, I have to say, I did enjoy it. It passed the time, passed a lot of time, in fact. I mean, I have to admit, I had a phone call midway through, so I had a break, which might have helped. In fairness, I have to mention that. The thing is, it's kind of watching it again this time. It's kind of, I still think this film gets a very rough ride just for being a bit generic. However, there are things that have always bugged me with it that really came to the fore on this viewing. And Darren mentioned it, and it is the design of the Na'vi. Neytiri is brilliantly realised. The rest often look kind of like they're like concept sketches done. They can't decide where the ears are on them. The ears shift about. on different ones and in different places. How wide apart the eyes are varies radically. And it's kind of, that does sort of take me out of it. And I think, I mean, I have not a soft spot for Avatar, but I think it's all right. I think it gets really badly kicked, and it gets kicked for having a lot of people getting overexcited when it came out. It gets kicked for starting the 3D craze, rightly or wrongly. I mean, 3D. Let's face it. I mean, I didn't expect it to last this long, and it's a long time since I've seen a film in 3D where I've actually think, oh, it's worth it. But every time I keep ponying up money and doing it because you never know.
Yeah, live in hope.
It's like, Godzilla. That's some nice little bits of 3D now and again. Winter Soldier, nice bits of 3D now and again, but nothing that's competed with, say, like Avatar, which was like just stunningly done all the way through.
Yeah.
And I kind of, I sort of feel with it. It's kind of, it's all right. You know what I mean? It's not terrible. It doesn't offend me. I think if you can go with it, you can have a lot of fun. I think if you were 8 and saw it, it'd probably blow you away. But the other, it's like blue cat people riding dragons, attacking helicopters. What's not to like? The Pacific Rim argument. But I think the thing is where its main fault is that Navi design. Because if you can't identify and get into the Navi characters, all the kind of passion and heart it has for showing you this world, you can't. That locks people out. Yeah, I think, because it's kind of, and if you can't get into the world, then it is just wallpaper. Yeah, maybe I can get into the world, but mainly just that's because of Natari. And how well she's realised.
Bit of blue side boob.
Well, 8-foot-tall blue cat people. Well, it's new.
Oh, no.
I mean, it's one of those things. It's kind of I think kind of the script is lacking. It's one of those. It's like the character design. The script could have just done with another pass if they weren't too busy looking at the visuals. Yeah, the visuals are stunning, but on a TV, it loses a lot of that. It's still really impressive, though. I mean, it is a gorgeously rendered alien world, and yes, it is derivative of Rodney Matthews. But I quite like Rodney Matthews and Roger Dean, and you know what I mean. I can go with that. And the James Horner score is very good, I think. Although it lapses into new age nonsense at times. With choral singing, and that irks me. Yeah. And that's another thing that irks me with the Navi is it's kind of, I wish you'd gone more alien rather than just kind of, they're a blue sort of Maasai sort of rainforesty people, sort of aboriginal kind of generic ethnic tribal thing. Yeah. Which is kind of, they'd been better if they'd been more alien. Yeah. A lot more alien.
Yeah, if you hadn't, if they hadn't looked like cute cat people with Disney eyes, would you have necessarily had? You would have needed to concentrate more on a story to make something out of them, rather than using the design to tell the story.
Well, this is. I mean, it's one of the, it's an odd thing. I mean, I see like Avatar is kind of in the James Cameron filmography. I'm going to use a musical metaphor here. He started out with the Terminator, and that was like, it's angry, it's punky, it was lo-fi. Yeah. And then, he gets a bit more money, he does, kick-ass aliens, the same thing again, but he's actually got more than a 4-track recorder. Yeah, great. By the time we get to Titanic, he's got to that sort of middle-aged, coke-addled fashion that successful rock acts and pop acts get to, where they suddenly decide they're going to do a blues album. No. and Titanic was his equivalent of that, of where he decided to do an old school Hollywood movie and essentially, remake A Night to Remember, but not as good. Yes. In a really overblown way. And then I see like kind of Avatar is his prog rock album. Now you can say it's overindulgent. You can say it's style over substance. You can say it's overblown, but it's a prog album. That's what it's supposed to be. It's almost, it's written into the form of what he was trying to do that he's going to turn out like that.
It's the cinematic equivalent of a 75-minute piano solo.
Well, this is a Yes album on film. That's how Avatar is. It is a Yes album on film.
Rick Wakeman sort of rubbing his nose up and down the keyboard.
Yeah, that's it. That is it exactly.
Bang. I'll name that in 27. Ding. Oh, go on, carry on, G. Sorry, but
But yeah, I mean, I had a better time watching it on TV than I was expecting. But at the same time, I did feel kind of like, I'm not seeing Avatar, I'm seeing an echo of Avatar.
Yeah.
Because the only Avatar exists in IMAX. I mean, at the time, I think it might be even my review I wrote that I was skeptical that even on an ordinary cinema screen, it might not look as good as it did in IMAX, which what it was shot for.
Yeah.
And if you see it in anything less than that, you're not getting the full effect.
No.
When you get that full gigantic thing, it works. But that's its big failing. It only works in the cinema. It only works on IMAX.
Yeah. Which is kind of part of its problem, really.
Oh, definitely. Because I mean, on one hand, I don't think filmmakers should pander to this modern age of, well, there's going to be twats watching things on a 2-inch screen on their phone. No. I mean, that we shouldn't go too down that direction. But at the same time, it is kind of bound by being shot for 3D for IMAX, the end. And as a novelty act, a cinematic novelty act, it's fine. I won't hail it as a sci-fi classic. As a home experience, it was more like, for me, the enjoyment was more reliving remembering seeing it on the big screen and being, really wowed by it. Even though I had reservation of the story, but the wow factor sort of, your cinema can be just spectacle. Fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can go with that. Wouldn't want it all the time, but in this case, fair enough. So it's kind of, I think it's all right. It's kind of, I don't have strong feelings either way. I don't love it, but I don't hate it either. I think there's a lot to like in it, and it's one of those things. It's just kind of, it could have been a masterpiece. That's what gets me, with a bit of work here and there. Yeah. It wasn't far off what he was wanting to do, which was create something like a Star Wars for the 21st century. Even he got close, but he didn't quite get there. He should have lost the organ solo.
Yeah, Rick Wakeman should have got his caftan off. Should have calmed down a bit before he started doing it.
Would you say that the special effects are the cowbell in that thing?
You always need more cowbell.
You always have a cowbell.
Yeah. For me, I found this film to be a tedious trudge. Now, when we first saw it, we went for the screening way back in episode 16.
Yeah, we're all excited.
Avatars, in case anyone wants to know what it was called. I wasn't terribly impressed with it then, but I couldn't really put it into words apart from just the fact that it just felt like it was doing everything.
More like a scream.
Yeah, it was more like a inconsolable gargle of rage. And now, watching it this time, without the spectacle, without the action really engaging me, the big problem I have, apart from it being Dances with Wolves, is the only thing it really does is it nicks. It's just so bland, and it's clear that as you said earlier on, Jim, it's all the visuals that are really carrying this film. You have to see it in IMAX, you have to see it with 3D, and if you don't, the only thing you've got going with it is literally sitting there going, well, tell me a good story. Oh, you're not. And the problem is, watching it this time, apart from fucking boring the arse off me, and I thought that it needed at least an hour and 3/4 clipped off it, was...
It goes down to about 45 minutes.
Exactly, it needed 45 minutes.
It's an episode of fucking Stargate, that's what it is.
Yeah. No, but that's the thing. It was an episode of Stargate. You watch it again, it is that whole thing that Stargate keeps doing, which they kind of unwittingly do, which Dances with Wolves did, Little Big Man did. What's that one, Richard Harris? A Man Called Horse.
Yeah.
That whole thing, this sort of, well, for want of a much better phrase, white man guilt. The American Indians, we drove them out. The Aboriginals, we drove them out. And now we feel very, very guilty about it 200 years later, and we're still making films to make us feel a lot better about it. And it's like, everything is just so trite. It's like, sort of like, hey, guess what? We have this noble ancient race, of not savages, because God, that would be wrong to call them savages.
But they are.
But you know, they're in touch with the universe. They're spiritually lovely and
savages.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing was, you know, it's like, no, they are noble spirits of the land, and it's like, oh, for God's sakes, this sort of, yeah, and you know, can you imagine in like 2,000 years' time, they'll come back to the Navi and they've all got casinos just dotted down high streets and stuff. But you know, or panhandling. Anyway, the thing is that, you know, there's this whole thing of like, in comes the one guy from the, you know, invading force who understands them better than anyone else, and you know, he's naturally in tune with them, and then he comes in and does what they do, but he does it better. And in, you know, they're all noble savages, and they've all worshipped this big monster that, you know, if you tamed it, no one's tamed it. Oh, but in comes Whitey, and away you go. And it's like, you know, he takes over the big fucking monster and rules the roost.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, so these guys would not have succeeded without you. You know, and
he's only doing it to get his end away.
Exactly. He's just trying.
In fairness, though, it is also drawing on a lot of old pulp sci-fi where Earthmen come to a planet and sort the shit out, like Flash Gordon and John Carter as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
But once you throw dreadlocks in,
yeah,
it starts looking bad.
Yes, exactly. It starts looking vaguely racist, and the problem is that whole thing is there, and it's like, you know, that's where the Dances with Wolves comparison comes in. You know, the Fern Gully thing. You know, all these films do it, and some of them get away with it because, you know, that's the era that they're in, and that's what the story you got to tell. But in the case of Avatar, the fact is you make this super alien landscape where everything's based around six. You know, everything had 6 legs, everything had long snouts, you know, and everything had those tentacles. That did you not notice that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, okay, fine. Well, which goes to show how much that research really matters. But the fact is that the whole thing was built around hex figures.
So they're in the Matrix.
Yeah, exactly.
Hexadecimal.
No, that's 16. But anyway,
it's only 10 off.
Hexadecimal.
It's only 10 off.
Anyway, but 10. The Navi, no, they don't. They have 4. They have 4, so they look more for limbs instead of 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say,
and again, then what we do is we give them beads, and we make them more like nobles, you know, make them like noble spirits of the land, and it all goes back to, okay, right, fine. How much on the nose are, you know? Why don't we just call them like the Comanche alien tribe, or, you know, the Aboriginal Zeblix or something like that? And it's just
Mass Effecti.
the Mass Effecti, yeah, exactly. And it is that whole thing of it was just so trite. And the problem is, you know, as you said, if they were more alien, if their routines and their religions and everything were more alien and not so fucking on the nose, this is a displaced race, you know, of Earth, except what we've done is we painted them blue. You know, it's just
giving them stilts.
Giving them stilts, and we painted them blue. You know, and now we don't feel so bad about, you know.
I must say, one thing that
story.
strike me is kind of, why did he do them blue?
Exactly. Yeah, the whole
blue was asking for trouble, wasn't it? Come on, it was.
But the whole thing feels like someone's dropped a fucking greenhouse from Gardener's World in the middle of an Ibiza disco. It's just all blue light. It's all ultraviolet. Everyone thumping around going, hey, oh. It's like, oh, come on, seriously. You know, everyone, you know, it's only once they learn the English language and once the outsider comes in and understands their ways better than them, and then starts riding the big monster that no one else could ride. It's just, I'll give over. So that side of things was terrible. For me, it was terrible because it was just the worst kind of sort of like, you know, as I said before, and I apologise if this sounds racist by me saying it, but it has that sort of, you know, here comes the white man, he's going to save everyone, and yeah,
I get it every day.
Shite. And then on top of that, the story kind of rattles along at a really good pace for the first like 15-20 minutes. No, it does. It's like, you know, oh, brother's dead, I'm in the ship.
Can I just say something about that scene as well?
Yeah. They just stuck him in a cardboard box, blue and white striped burial.
Well, it's not only that. You've got Sam Worthington standing there looking at his dead brother, and it's like he's looking through Argos' fucking catalogue. You know, that's about as much emotional impact.
Yeah. That's because he wasn't digitally recreated at that point.
Yeah, he performs a lot better when he's a Navi.
He does, because someone else is...
That is noticeable.
Yeah, someone else is actually animating his face. But that's the thing. Then you got sort of like down to the planet. Then you got Colonel Nutjob fucking telling you how everything's going to try and kill you.
Evil Roy Walker, I thought of him as.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, now say what you see, say what you see. Yeah, the man with the biggest
fucking lion thing.
The man with the biggest lungs in science fiction. I've never known a man to sort of like calmly take a deep breath and then walk around for a good 5 minutes taking pot shots at random things and then kind of casually walking up and taking a helmet. It's like, just fucking let him suffocate. Oh no, what's he doing? Breathing out of his ears? I mean, what? But
he's very popular with the ladies.
Yes, I bet he is. But anyway, so the thing was, it was just like all the characters were bland, all the acting was bland. The story was the worst kind of trite kind of, you know, conglomeration of 100 different other stories, all of which had the same kind of theme, all of which could be basically vaguely racist. And then on top of that, it ends up with essentially a very large version of the Ewok battle at the end of Return of the Jedi, which is essentially noble savages with only spears and arrows come in and attack and defeat billions of dollars worth of technology, which could have bombed them from orbit. But they didn't. And
could have done, yep.
And you know what? Return of the Jedi did the whole story of Avatar in the last 40 minutes of Return of the Jedi. They did it. You meet the noble savages, you get in with the noble savages, you turn the noble savages into a unified fighting force, you overtake the big technological empire.
And then they eat you.
Exactly. And then they worship your Hoover or something. But the thing is, they did that in 40 minutes, and that was still fucking boring. And then you stretch into 3 fucking hours with monkey people with side boobs, and it's just like, what? Why? And it just seems so. He seems so sort of absorbed with the fucking world and stupid whirligig creatures that don't make any sense in any biological way whatsoever. Oh yeah, so this is a chameleon creature, and it's a chameleon, so of course it's trying to hide, except when you touch it and it turns into a big spinny whirligig thing and spins up in the air, and yeah, making itself instantly identifiable to all predators all around. Anyway, overall it just felt like someone had fallen asleep with their face in a Roger Dean album and then sort of woke up and their eyes were a bit blurry and they had a black light on, and then everyone went, oh, I know, let's watch some Dances with Wolves and smoke a doobie. And then they did, and then suddenly someone said, you know what, this would be better if the cavalry were like Space Marines from Aliens.
Sounds like an average Saturday night for me.
Yeah, exactly. and the film is just bland. That's the problem.
It's beige.
It is. It's not blue, it's beige. And that's the worst bit. It's so tedious that the only way it did get past most people, and, you know, if someone likes it, that's fine. I know there's a big love for it. I mean, 2.7 billion obviously says that people went to see it more than once. But it's just like, it's without the visuals to prop it up, without the hype, it's nothing. It's a tedious story, which essentially, in some respects, retells fucking Titanic.
Yeah, it does, actually.
Man from wrong side of the tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Hooks up with lady in high standing. They consummate their love after a big chase for a good portion of the film.
Where he's plugged in.
Yeah, where they see...
Hang on, is there a tiger loose on the Titanic? I've never actually watched much. I've never seen all of Cameron's Titanic on the premise that I know how it ends.
Well,
it sounds like I'm missing something here. There's a tiger chase in it.
Spoilers.
Well, actually, no, but there is a chase with a rather angry Billy Zane all around the ship where they're avoiding him.
Billy, the Phantom Zane.
Exactly. Yeah.
Slam evil.
Yes, exactly. Slam evil with your big ring. But yeah, it is essentially that. So they get chased all around the Titanic by Billy Zane, and then eventually consummate their love, and then the ship hits an iceberg. In Avatar, you get a man from the wrong side of the tracks. He gets in with a lady of high standing. She shows him a world he's never seen. They get chased around by a big tigery thing, and she chooses her love for the man from the outside over the man that she was due to marry. And then when they consummate their relationship, what happens? Their fucking Christmas tree gets knocked over. And exactly, you replace Christmas tree with boat, and you replace tiger with Billy Zane, and I think you're pretty much there.
Although you could have a tiger Billy Zane.
Exactly.
You can have a tiger Zane.
Except it can't be a tiger, it has to be called a Thanatar. I mean, fucking...
You didn't just make that name up, did you?
No, I
That's
didn't.
what it's called.
Thanatar.
Thanatar.
This is my Thanatar. I'm talking about my cock.
Yeah, Thanatar, Deathwalker Xanadu. I mean, it's so... And so, yeah, it is just fucking Titanic, but with blue monkeys. It's fucking tedious. It is the pinnacle of a man taking his eye so far off the ball that he just went, oh, well, that story will do. I'll come back to it and rewrite it later. I mean, Unobtainium. Did he just start writing that and go, yeah, that'll do. You know what? I'll do a find and replace in the script later on.
No.
Unobtainium isn't his fault,
isn't it?
No. Well, it is his fault to use it in the script. He shouldn't have, because he's retarded.
Yes.
But it is actually a pre-existing phrase among engineers, unobtainium.
Right.
It goes back quite a way for, it's like, engineer slang for a hard-to-get hold of material.
But
he shouldn't have put it in the script. He should have called it something else.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things, I think, because James Cameron is a big techie guy, and he's heard unobtainium that long, he's forgotten how daft it sounds.
Yeah.
He's inured to it, you know what I mean? The way we can actually talk about, comics and things that sound like we're raving lunatics to the general man in the street.
Yeah. Spaceopoly lad, come back.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But yeah, he shouldn't have put it in the script, but in fairness, he didn't invent it. It's been out there. It was in the core, remember?
Oh, God, it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Just coming from the same source.
Oh, God, maybe it's a prequel. Maybe the core's a prequel to fucking Avatar.
Oh, shut up, no.
Well, why not? Why not? No less stupid. I mean...
all in the same bastard universe.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, that for me, that's the biggest problem with Avatar. Once you take away the visuals, it all goes... And then when you've got nothing but the story to prop it up, the story's too saggy. It's too baggy. The intro 20 minutes is fine.
Yep.
The last 20 minutes arguably is fine spectacle. And then and then they throw in a bit of Fern Gully and Gaia and all that kind of stuff and go, hey, look, the planet's helping us all along. And it's like, really? Okay. This is starting to sound like someone read 2000 AD and Bad Company, and oh look, Danny Franks is now part of the Cruel Heart, and now all of a sudden he's taking over the universe.
Spoilers.
Oh, it's only fucking 30 years ago. I'm sure someone's read it by now. But anyway, so yeah, it just feels so cobbled together from everything else, and so boring. It's just boring. It's beige. But there you go. That's mine. That's my take on it. What anyone else thinks about it, I don't know.
You just summed it all up, really.
But anyway, there you go. So let's move on, shall we? Let's move on to the wonderful world of feedback. Now, obviously, before we go into feedback from the people who bothered to watch this film to a certain degree and write in, we actually have all sorts of well wishes and 200th episode well dones and stuff on Facebook. So I shall read a couple of those out, and then once we do that, we'll go on to normal feedback. God, and you know what? I should have almost had this prepped up, but I should have done, and it would have been really smooth and slick. And after 200 episodes, you would have hoped that I would have.
But why change now?
Why change now? Exactly. And he says, desperately trying to paper over the cracks while his iPad slowly...
Albatross! Albatross! Albatross!
Oh, God. Well, Elton McManus says, I know I'm a wee bit late, but massive congratulations on making it to episode 200.
Yay!
Yay! Herc writes in and says, it seems to have taken off, eh? Well, merry 200 to you all, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to pump my ears full of much-needed friendly voices over all the years. To which Laura replies and says, pump. Brad Thornton, one of our earliest feedbackers of all time.
Oh, he was,
with his
yes.
spectacular feedbacks. Writes in to say, congratulations on your 200th episode, guys. True entertainment made from the heart. Cheers for all your efforts. Hugs. Oh, thank you very much for that, Brad.
Yep. Big girl person.
Thing and stuff. Anyway, Lee Harvey writes in and says, something 200 Blackdog. No, thank you. Thank you for bringing Darren Diamond into my life. No, wait, I mean, no. Sean McGowan writes in from the Question Podcast, and he writes in to say, I just wanted to take a moment to say happy anniversary to the Blackdog, still my favourite podcast, and a source of guidance in my own podcasting efforts. Oh, God. Hope you moved on from that.
Speaking from prison.
Speaking from San Quentin, Sean says. Anyway, plus I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge that this show has put me and Melissa in touch with some amazing people who we are proud to consider friends. I'm terribly sorry we've not fed back in a long time. Weeks always seem to get away from me, but nonetheless the show is always on my mind and my iTunes queue. Long live Blackdog Podcast. To which Odile Thomas writes in and says, hear, hear, or more appropriate, I think, hear, hear, for a podcast. It's H-E-R-E. Anyway. Herc. Anyway, Odile also writes in to say, happy anniversary indeed. Cheers for all the hours of commuting made enjoyable thanks to your podcast. Here's to 200 more. Justin Woodman says, happy 200th, Black Doggers. Now that you're old, you might get in with a chance with Darren Diamond. We can only hope. Ben Langan Rush writes in to say, cheers for all the hours of laughs and anti-DIY advice. Mark McHugh says, happy birthday, you old cunt. You don't look an episode over 199. Gareth Newell says, cheers for the giggles, chaps. Here's to the next 200. Well, Mark Last says, happy 200th episode, fellas. Here's to the next 200. And to my fellow Black Doggers, hopefully put some faces to names at the Shindig in September. Yes. Woo! Wicked. Yes. Which is set for the 13th of September. And
certainly is.
More people are coming. Hurrah.
Yes, there's over 30 now.
Woo! Yeah. Yes. Hold on. Lisa... Coates. Now I can never pronounce the surname, and I always Coates. Whatever it is, will make it sound like puke, and I'm very sorry. So Lisa writes in and says, "I don't hate Avatar. I don't love Avatar. I do really dislike the creature designs, and can't say that enough. Rubber textures everywhere. Anyway, thanks for the laughs." By now, people at work know that when I'm making some weird snorting noises, I'm listening to you guys. God forbid I ever choke on a Wednesday. No one would ever spare me a second glance. My death is on your hands. And hey, everyone in the group, you're honestly the reason I still have an active Facebook account. Cue the streamers and confetti. Woo! This is... Oh, my God, she's tried... Oh, she's written in Afrikaans, and I'm not going to do it. Anyway, she says, woohoo, the Black Dog podcast, because apparently Afrikaans need their own fucking word for podcast, which is potgooey, apparently. There you go. Now you know. Matt Dillon writes in to say, unfortunately I didn't have time to record proper feedback for your time before you start recording tonight, so let me just wish you a happy 200th from everybody here at Geek Planet Online. Aww. And as for my favourite Black Dog moment, that would be the first time I spoke to Lee Metcalf. The podcast wasn't much younger than Geek Planet Online at that point. We exchanged numbers, and we're supposed to have a 5-minute chat about the Black Dog joining us, and it turned into an hour-long chinwag, mostly spent in hysterics. I'm very proud to have had the Black Dog as a part of the Geek Planet Online podcast network. Even prouder to call Lee and Darren my mates. Happy birthday, Winston. Here's plenty of walkies in you yet. So there you go. Thank you very much. Glenn Kimberley says, congrats on reaching episode 200 without killing each other or anyone who happened to be nearby.
Came so close.
Yeah.
So close.
So close, so many times. Don't know if discovering the Blackdog podcast was beneficial or detrimental to my life, but it sure made me laugh many, many times over in the past couple of years. So thanks for the laughs. Can't be asked to sit through Avatar again, though. It looked pretty in the cinema, but was very cliched and predictable. And I think that's it. Oh, and Ollie Peters says, sorry guys, no feedback. Have a good 200th. Cheers, Ollie.
Yeah, cheers, Ollie.
Well, there you go. So that was the Facebook well wishes and feedback. So let's move on to the actual written stuff, and I'll start this one with Dave Probert, and he writes, congratulations and fuck Avatar. Hello, gents. It is I, Dave, Master of the Universe Podcast Survivor 2014. Chances of me watching Avatar again are extremely slim. I think only circumstances I'd consider watching it again would be if the lives of loved ones were threatened, and even then it would depend on who was under threat. The plot is hackneyed, the script, that doesn't sound like it was finished. Unobtainium sounds like a holding word put in a script until someone could think of a proper name and then forgot about it. The biology of the planet, which makes fuck all sense, and neither does half the tech. A mech suit with a giant hunting knife? Fuck off. So, with that rant out of the way, I'd like to take this opportunity to say congratulations on reaching 200 podcasts. When I listened to your first episode, when you first joined Geek Planet Online, my first thought was, shit, these guys sound really polished and slick compared to what we're putting out, and I don't think it's any exaggeration to say that you made me and Matt try and raise our game. It's an honour and a privilege to have you have been a guest on the show, even when we've recorded into the wee small hours of the morning and we've all prayed for death. Nowhere else do I get to rant as hard as I do on the Blackdog. You have swiftly become an important and integral part of the Geek Planet Online family, and long may it continue. Thank you for all your hard work over the years, and fuck Avatar, Dave. Thank you very much for that, Dave. So,
I think he was too impressed.
I don't think he was, but thank you very much for the birthday wishes. So, Darren, who do you have?
All right, sure.
When you're not looking on fucking Twitter.
I'm not looking on Twitter.
I caught you, you motherfucker.
No, I'm on Twitter. I've not got it active at all.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll have a message here from David Renane.
Okay. Nice, Dave.
Yeah, nice, Dave.
Happy
and his
Dave.
subject is half a turd is still a turd.
Right.
Hello, chaps. Huzzah! Special congratulations for the Blackdog bicentennial. And by bicentennial, I'm not referring to Mr. Diamond's special visit to Britain's oldest couple. And on top of that, extra thanks to Lee and his perseverance with my feedback last week. I was entering a Shatner-esque rendition at best, not a sterling attempt to carry a tune. Lee's valiant efforts made me feel guilty for putting him through it. Almost. Then I found out what we're meant to be doing this week. You guys are lucky this feedback isn't in the form of interpretive dance.
I am now doing...
We should have that.
I'm doing the dance of shame.
If you want to send feedback in, people, in the form of interpretive dance, I mean, as in a video of yourself doing interpretive dance, please do.
Yes.
Won't make much of an audio file, but we can put it on the actual
We will
Facebook
have a
group.
bloody good laugh at your expense, though.
Yes. In fact, maybe that's what we'll do. We'll have that playing, and it will just be a soundtrack of us laughing.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll do.
Yes. Until
Yes.
somebody loses an eye.
Black Dog Idol.
just bone idle. Go on, Darren.
Anyway, I continue. I really didn't like this week's film. Not at all. Now, I know I have overused the crying stripper analogy for bad films in the past few weeks, but it might actually be bang on for this movie. All the more money than sense eye candy on show does not disguise the fact that this is a soulless exercise in gratuitously obvious ham-fisted moral, and no amount of cutesy creature feature effects are going to balance out the fact that the scantily clad hot chick is not going to get a kit off. But there is a but, a big but, and I cannot lie. You other Black Doggers can't deny. No, Lee's lawyers said never again.
It's all right, Darren's reading it. Go on, Dal.
I could actually. When a navvy walks in with an itty bitty wasted around thinking your fish, you get sprung
by the Thanatar.
Behold my Thanatar.
Nub crusher of Hoonok.
Go on, carry on.
Does Darren Diamond have a nanatar?
He does, actually.
Zimitar.
Yes. He has to, first of all, he has to leap on her and then plug himself into the cigarette lighter on the back of her head. And that's it. He's away.
Right.
Make the bond, Darren. Make the bond.
Look at the tip glow.
plugs himself into the nearest defibrillator and off he goes. Jump start himself. Go on, carry on.
Okay, anyway, carry on, yes, as you say. Anyway, as much as I can see the wrong about this movie, I do have to wonder if it actually deserves all the scorn. Oops, hello, sorry, power gone. If it deserves all the scorn that has been placed on it. It's a genre film, and it is by no means the worst of its type. I'm not saying we shouldn't be expecting more of the films. I'm not saying we shouldn't be expecting more of the films we see, and that bit extra effort to surpass the tropes of the genre can't be a wonderful thing. But can we really crucify a movie simply because it doesn't try to do more than revert to form? Personally,
yes.
I think, Personally, I think that a lot of the hate directed at this film is pointed at the aforementioned more money than sense eye candy elements rather than its merits as a standalone production without all the press and hype. And with that in mind, I can see there are some kernels of good in there. Just maybe. Nope. Just kill it. Kill it with fire. And that was my review for Hottie and the Naughty. Avatar? Fuck that shit. Love and kisses, pirouette to show joy at reaching for the mind bleach. Happy Dave.
Thank you, Dave. Just interestingly, before we move on to the next piece of feedback, thank you very much for that, Dave. But I was going to say, just looking at my DVD, my Blu-ray collection, I've just noticed District 9.
Yes.
And you know what?
Mm-hmm.
That is a similar idea to Avatar, with the man getting involved in the environment. No, I'm just going to say, but the thing is, it's much better done.
Yeah,
much better done because the aliens aren't sympathetic initially. They don't look sympathetic. They aren't attractive, and what's happening to the main protagonist isn't attractive or nice.
No.
But you still end up rooting for him, and you still end up enjoying the story. Because the story's a stronger story, and it's more than just a guilt trip. It's just, it's got some political views and ideology running through it and subtext, which is a lot stronger and a much better story. And I just think you want to see where Avatar could have been. District 9 is pretty much it.
It's more of a, District 9 is more of a shoe on the other foot type of film, where things go really. It's not this man trying to save a race or anything. It's kind of. But he does. I know he does. But it's that whole thing of.
It's more Pauper and the Prince, I think, in a way.
Yeah.
that role reversal.
Yeah, but the idea of
it's like Freaky Friday with prawns.
Last time I had a Freaky Friday with prawns, I spent all night on the toilet. That fucking curry went right through me. Oh well, I'll stop trying to be fucking sensible at this point. Jim, what's your first piece of feedback, sir?
We have a congratulations message from long-time listener Sarah Lazelle.
Hey. Lucky Minty.
Lucky Minty.
Oh, hello, Minty.
Hello, Lucky Minty.
Hello.
We must do another section like that.
Do you like it, Minty?
Do you like it, Minty? Do you like it when it's rough like this, Minty?
Is it down the well, Minty?
What's that, Minty? The miners, they're on fire.
Down the well.
Their heads are on fire. That they're running around. Oh my word!
Okay. It's like I just suddenly took a massive flashback to the Superman 2 episode. I just whoa, just shot backwards through time. Anyway, go on.
Sarah writes, congratulations, guys, on reaching this milestone. Doesn't seem like that long ago I listened to my first episode, which I think was Superman 2.
There we go.
I know it was early 2010. Not quite there for episode 0, but close enough.
Yeah.
I'm sure others will come up with some inappropriate jokes and funny one-liners, but I just want to say thanks for all the laughs over the past 200 episodes, and here's to the next 200. Woo-hoo. P.S. I think there's someone still stuck down the well.
Hey!
P.P.S. I know I was supposed to watch Avatar, but I'm not gonna. P.P.S. I couldn't possibly pick one favourite moment from the last 199 episodes. It would like be finding a needle in a haystack, as there are so many times I've wept from laughter or winced in sympathy. If I absolutely had to pick, I guess the songs are my favourites, especially the emergence of a new one to learn and sing along to. Looking forward to hearing everyone else's feedback.
Oh, thank you very much. Makes me feel really guilty that we didn't do an intro this week. We just skipped on past.
No, that was all us in the beginning.
Oh, was it? It wasn't Eiffel 69.
No.
Okay.
No, it's all us.
Okay, fair enough. Right, okay, well, thank you very much for that, Minty. Lovely, lucky Minty.
Thank you, Minty.
Minty, hello, Minty.
Every time we mention her, we must speak like this from now on.
Minty.
I'm the goddamn Batman. I'm not wearing hockey pants. My parents are dead.
No, it's darkness. Sorry. Going in very Lego thing. Right. Yes. Anyway, thank you very much for that, Minty. And if we're still here in 200 more episodes, I think...
Send help.
Yeah. Go, come round. We'll sign the forms and, send us off to Dignitas. I think we'll be fine.
It could end up being a story just like the Chilean miners. It really could.
In reverse, they just put us in a hole.
We were stuck underground for 200 episodes.
And then we were free. Anyway, next piece of feedback is from Teresa Bowles, the Frog Stomper. The Frog Stomper. And she writes, congratulations on your 200th episode. I hope you made the effort and got all dressed up for this grand occasion in your tuxedos. Your lovely ladies have paid a fortune for new frocks and having their hair done, and you're having the whole red carpet thing.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Where's your lovely lady, Darren?
Out drinking.
So's mine. I think that says it all. Anyway,
they've got the choice to do anything they like. Anyway. They go out and drown their sorrows.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm sure they meet up in the evenings and just lament the fact they both married us. Anyway.
Yep.
So anyway, she continues. Now, I did make an attempt to rewatch Avatar, or Avocado, as my mum still refers to it. But between Amazon Prime, Netflix, BT, and Computer Exchange, it was just not going to happen. Looking back, though, this movie proved that you can throw squillions of dollars at effects in the CG movie and still make something that left me feel like I had lost 3 hours of my life that I would never get back again. Moving on to my favourite moment of the Blackdog, so many to choose from. I discovered the Blackdog only last year, and the very first episode I listened to was episode 180, the one where you reviewed Elektra, or Chuff and Puff Ninjas as you called it. I was immediately hooked and have been listening every week ever since. I must admit, though, that as I didn't know you guys weren't all the same room before listening to your podcast, I did wonder why Jim occasionally sounded like he was broadcasting from inside a box. And now I feel very silly. Anyway.
No, he is. We've got him on the table here. Jim's only 3 inches high.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like the internet. There's a little box next to it. There's the entire internet as well.
He is the internet.
Yes.
Anyway, now I feel silly. Whilst that episode remains one of my favourites, I think the award definitely goes to episode 199, in which you got fed up with reviewing Beverly Hills Cop and decided instead to resurrect Devastating Dave's Zip Zap Rap in its many different forms. So keep up the excellent work, Black Doggers, and here's to another 200 episodes. Love and hugs, Teresa Bowles, a.k.a. the Frog Stomper. Thank you so much for that.
I do believe we'll get to meet Teresa as well in September.
I do believe so.
Yes, indeed. She's coming along to the shindig.
Yes. Is she coming down on the same train as you, Jim? Because I understand Odil's been making some organisational moves.
Actually,
Yes, she has.
may meet her even sooner than that.
Why is that?
I
Birmingham.
think she had the meet-up, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, the one I can't go to now because the dates are moved.
Oh, is that it? You're not going?
I can't. It's my birthday, dude. I know it's Jim's birthday, but it's my birthday
Oh, it's
as
the
well.
12th of August, is it?
No, it's second.
Second.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that week I'll be away.
Okay.
Sorry. I did say that right at the very start. Anyway,
I
doesn't matter.
wasn't listening.
Look, it's fine. You go up as the representative of Blackdog, sit
I
there
will.
with Jim, nick all the buns, butter them up, nick them.
I'm going to paint. I'm going to sort of like divide myself in two and like have one half of my face covered by a beard, and I'm
You
just
can
and,
never grow-
and I'm just going to sit here arguing with myself and punching myself in either side of the face and stuff.
You could never grow a beard. You couldn't grow a convincing beard if your life depended on it.
Do you know what? I tried to grow a beard once, and
Yes.
it came off the day I was in the I was in the swimming bars.
The day there was a strong wind.
Yeah, and I came up from sort of like water, and there's this young girl on the side, and she said, "Do you know you look like Jeremy Beadle?" And that was it. It's like, well, thanks a fucking bunch. Cheers for that.
Big hand
yeah.
for Jeremy Beadle.
Yeah. You may want to take a few of those very heavy bricks when you dive in next.
Yeah. Jeremy Beadle. On the one hand, he's got a big cock. On the other hand,
But he never gets to use it. That's the thing. So, or he never did. God rest his soul.
game for a laugh, I should say.
Not anymore.
Oh God. This is just descending into madness. Right, go on. All right, Darren, who have you got next?
Okay. So we are going to go for Eric Simpatico.
As in Eric J from our man in Canada.
He certainly is, and he titles his email "Avatar." No thanks, I'm trying to cut down. And he begins, "Greetings, Black Doggers. And congratulations to all, and to Lee and Darren in particular. 200 is quite an achievement. But what I really want to congratulate and thank you for is the happiness your show has created for me and the legions of Black Dog fans out there."
Oh,
I wouldn't say legions, more like a bus stop or something. A very sort of like small parking space at someone's house. That's like that. Not even a regiment.
Darby and Joan Bean.
Yeah.
Darby and Joan Beano down to the coast.
It's like a small game of cards. That amount of people. Or dominoes or something. I don't know. How many? What's the maximum amount of people you can get for a game of snakes and ladders? Is it
4.
between 2 to 6?
4.
4?
4.
Maybe a couple more than that.
Yeah.
So, but we get the gist, Eric. Thanks very much.
No,
Anyway,
it's very kind of him to say.
the thought's there. Even if your numbers are technically out. Now, where was I?
I like to think it's legions.
I do.
One day my army's going to rise up.
I was going to say, hopefully Legion's not in the sort of, satanic sense of demons and shit.
Yes.
But, whatever floats their boat. Anyway, carrying on. It may sound corny, but in a world where so many things disappoint, I always get something out of your podcast.
Because we disappoint.
In every episode, I find something that makes me laugh and think, and on one occasion, even snort liquid out of my nose. Taught me a valuable lesson about listening and drinking. See, I get that every week, Eric, when Lee tries to get me to sort of like, say something when I'm taking a sip of tea.
Yeah.
So you have my condolences.
Because I'm trying to drown you.
That's basically what it is.
I'm not trying to drown Eric.
No, and getting milky tea all over everything in the process. Anyway, you've built something special, a great show, a thriving community, and a global listening audience. It actually is, yeah. So well done, and again, thank you. Oh, cheers, man.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I can even extend my thanks to include scheduling Avatar as show 200. I hadn't seen it since its theatrical run, and it was interesting to revisit it. That said, I have to admit that there's something about Avatar that just doesn't click with me. I can see all the ways in which it broke ground and was a stunning technical and directional achievement, but nothing in it caught my imagination, like the first Terminator or Ripley wearing the cargo suit throwing down against Mama Alien. For me, Avatar represents a remarkable feat of execution, but not a great piece of storytelling. But, like I said, maybe that's me. I think you'll find out later on that no, actually, when you listen, Eric, you'll see it's not just you. After all, I confess to liking every episode of the Blackdog, which gives you some indication of my taste and judgment. And with that, I'll say goodbye, good luck, and best wishes on your next 200 episodes. Your pal in Canada, Eric.
Thank you very much for that, Eric. And despite our mocking of various aspects of your email, we really do appreciate that. Thank you very much.
We were only mocking the numbers that actually listen to us. That's
we
all.
are mocking ourselves.
We're mocking ourselves, not your sentiment.
No.
It's much appreciated.
Thank you very much for that, indeed.
Indeedy.
So, Jim, who do you have next?
We have Mr. Gareth Lloyd.
Aha, Gareth Lloyd. One day we will actually record a jingle for that. But anyway, go on, carry on.
I have to try and find the tab for Uke for the Gareth Lloyd.
Yeah.
Oh yes. See, we've got our own music maestro now, and we could be like the ukulele equivalent of Metallica. Twang, 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 twang.
And tonight,
excellent. Sing it in the voice of George Formby there.
Take mine. After Neverland.
Turn that nice again.
Turn that nice again, motherfucker.
Don't laugh, the tab will be out there. You can find everything has been translated to uke. There's a very fine career ukulele site. That's all you need, which has to is called, I kid you not, Uke Hunt.
Oh, congratulations to that person. Well done. Well done. Golf clap. Go on.
Anyhow, Gareth writes, hello, chaps.
Hello.
Well, Avatar. I have to come clean that watching this for only the third time, I gave up halfway through. It's such a dull film that it's really hard to connect with on any level. The characters are cliched, the story is unoriginal, and I've never seen such clunky exposition. Why have all this world building just to populate with copies of various Native American tropes we've seen it 100 times before? The creatures are dull and uninteresting, and none of them come even close to being anywhere near as memorable as a Doug McClure dinosaur, let alone a Harryhausen character. And the look is just cobbled together from better and more interesting films. Sorry, guys, for not sticking with it, but huge congratulations to you for your 200th episode. I have to say, I've enjoyed every episode, from the brilliant intros, to the rants, to the shitty superheroes, to the excuse to catch up on a variety of old movies. And it's always inclusive of the listeners and feels like a warm chat with friends. So thanks, guys, for all your hard work. And here's to the next 200. One thing, can we have Script Sandwich back?
Hey!
That made me laugh.
Hey!
So, as ever, cheers all, Gareth.
That's 1 for 200 against. Thank you, Gareth. I'm glad to see someone appreciates genius.
Yeah, I should say.
We almost had Blackdog beer mats made up for that as prizes as well.
We could have released a range of sandwiches off the back of that.
Dawn of the Dead peanut butter.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah, I remember that one causing much consternation amongst people feeling sick because we kept on. And thank you again, Gareth, for sticking with us through the good times and the bad, through the avatars and the room,
and your own badly sung jingle.
Yeah, and your own badly sung
still
jingle.
Not got right.
Yeah. Exactly. We've had a jingle ready for you for the last 200 episodes, but frankly, we never got round to it. Well, actually, we couldn't find someone who could play the ukulele, but now
we have
could change.
We have the Tony Stark of ukulele players. We have Jim Boone.
So, anyway, thank you very much for that, Gareth. Much appreciated, sir. And I completely understand not wanting to watch Avatar again. So, the next piece of feedback is from another one of our listeners in South Africa, which is Tian Ross.
Yay.
And he writes, "How's it, Black Doggers? First, let me congratulate you on a meaty 200th episode. Well done, you oaks deserved it with a great show. Now, to Avatar. First, there's blue people in it. Second, squirrel throws a smoke bomb, and you just hear feet running away into the bunker of Shun, behind a big-ass safe door closing, 1,000 little locks being closed, and finally a big brace being put against it. Then you hear a soft voice saying, I liked it, damn it. I really liked it. Silence. Fuck, I'm never going to get out of this place alive, am I? You son of a motherless goat. Damn you, Avatar. Damn you. Silence. Why does this place smell of pee and old balls? Why is this wall covered with Darren Diamond's conquests? Shit, is that Mikhail Gorbachev? Anyway, happy 200th again. I hope you do a lot more, and thanks to you. Tien. Hail Cthulhu. Thank you very much for that, sir. I have more feedback here because obviously you guys have only got a few.
There's more on the Facebook group I can read out as well if you like.
Oh yes, if you got some, Jim.
Yes. Let me just fire it up. Someone's been coming in while we've been on air.
Wow.
This is live.
Wow.
Danny Davis writes, many congratulations on 200 years of podcasting, chaps. Here's to the next 200.
Thank you very much, Danny.
Get the lawyers on standby, because Danny Graydon writes, 200 episodes, eh? Well, goodness gracious me. Who would have thought it was possible to have no less than 200 episodes of the inane ramblings of an absolute shower of... Only joking. Huge congratulations on reaching such a wonderful milestone. Mind you, Operation Or has enough evidence for you after the 5 episodes, but I'm still sure they're sure for the massive... I'm still sure... But still, I'm sure they're grateful for the massive overcompensation. Michael Cornett writes... I'm a total latecomer, but congratulations on 200 episodes, and here's hoping for many more.
Mm-hmm.
And Melissa McGowan, also of the Question Podcast, writes, congratulations on 200 episodes, gents. It seems like only yesterday you got started, but look how far you've come.
I'd say we've actually gone backwards.
With all the great films, the shit films and tick jokes, there have been insights, revelations, laughter, and some amazing friendships formed. Here's to at least another 200 fantastic episodes.
Well, thank you very much to everyone for that. That's great. Thank you very much. Just thinking how far we come. When we started in episode 0, we had one USB microphone, and it was hanging off. It was hanging off the lampshade by a coat hanger that we'd straightened out. That was it.
I remember we had to time our conversations carefully so that as it swung between the pair of us, you could only speak when it got really close. How you doing, Lee? I'm fine now.
Oh, don't knock it. Yeah, we weren't kicking the mic stand. We were actually headbutting it.
We certainly were,
we had
yes.
to talk to the ceiling. I always remember that. But anyway, technical sound issues, all sorts of things. And then finally, it's only now that we've actually got 2 mics.
Yeah, indeed.
There you go. Anyway, thank you guys. Yeah, much appreciated. And Danny Davies, by the way, who did he's still got them out there. The fantastic Disappointment podcast, which is still brilliant.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Is it 118? Oh God, what's the 192 or 147? Oh fuck, is it? Oh, cocked it right up now. But he was the only person, other than Brandy, of the Inside Outcast, to have ever featured on one of our intros.
Yeah, that's right.
Apart from you, Jim, who sang an entire intro.
Oh, yes.
Danny Davis is the only other person to do a full intro by himself. There you go, little detail when we did the Blair Witch, which was
that's right.
Spooky Train.
Michael Parkinson's Spooky Train and the Hampton Fancher Pate Festival that we were opening. That was
a quote about bottle as a man's drink.
Please, do yourselves a favour. If you're new to the podcast or relatively new, just go back and listen to the first first.
It's the Blair Witch
Project. The Blair Witch Project episode.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, the opening, and then we finally actually ran with it, and we turned the whole thing into a documentary, didn't we?
And we end up broadcasting live from Hampton Fancher
while walking through the forest.
Yeah.
The whole episode was broadcast from a forest. Ah, that was good. It was a pain in the arse recording all those fucking leaves, though. But I digress. Anyway, next piece of feedback. Thank you very much to everyone on Facebook. But the next piece of feedback is from Bob Haleman Lamont. And he writes, Dear Lee, Darren, Jim, and mysterious fourth chair, who is away playing fucking bingo. Anyway.
Mysterious fourth chair, I want to get close to you.
Oh, for God's sakes. We will be announcing who the fourth chair is at the end of this podcast, so do stick around for that if you're that interested, or join us on the next episode when he turns up.
If he turns up.
if he's not doing the Snakes and Ladders tournament in East Sheen.
Yeah, if he's not doing Operation up in York or something like that, you know.
But anyway,
Connect 4 in Coventry.
Now, Bob writes, Now, I don't have much to say about Avatar, as I have not had time to watch it, and I'm currently on holiday in Tuscany. Oh, very nice.
Yeah,
celebrating my grandparents' 80th birthday.
Blimey.
Actually, I've got something to say about Tuscany.
Go on then.
If I went to... There's the castle right at the top of Tuscany called Castello Neve.
Okay.
I got taught Maya there.
Did you?
I did a week there. Sat
really
there,
slumming it then.
Yeah, sitting in an Italian castle. That's when I had my old boy moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go.
There you go. So there you go, Bob. If you're listening to this and you're still in Tuscany, go up to a Castello
You should
Neve.
commemorate the moment by
watching old boy having a wank, listening to pigeons, and then hiding in a shower and crying to yourself. But anyway, so Bob continues. So naturally, a couple of days into the holiday, it's pissing down and it's cold as back home. So what I remember of Avatar, it was okay. Not good, but okay. The actors did about as good a job as you can do when you're told to act like a big blue cat smurf or a typical evil soldier person. The story's not original, but basically dances with wolves on an alien planet. It's got quite a good cast, though they are contained by a lackluster script and screenplay. The one thing you must admit, though, is that the world they made is very beautiful. And as Jim says, it's one of the few films that actually justifies 3D. How did he know you were going to say that? Have you already said this before?
I think they're actually watching us right now.
Fuck.
That's weird.
That is weird. Okay.
What did I say at the end of last week's episode?
Okay, maybe you did.
Possibly.
I'd like to think
I can't remember. I can remember it's Dangerous Dave.
I like to think you did, Jim. Otherwise, Bob's just revealed that he's made time travel. But anyway,
Quick, go back at that castle in Tuscany and stop him before he puts on Old Boy.
Yeah, stop me from watching Old Boy. Anyway, will I watch this film ever again? No, of course not. Do I mind watching it every so often? No, I don't. It's really become a bit of a Christmas film for me, as the time I did see it, it was around the festive season. Anyway, on to the real meat of the email. Happy 200th podcast, lads.
Oh, thanks.
Who would have thought it? I have followed the Blackdog since your Escape from New York podcast, and I remember thinking that these two guys are talking a load of old bollocks. Shitty superheroes? What the fuck? And who the hell is Darren Diamond? Well, this is the most honest feedback we've had about this podcast. But after that, I soon was hooked, and after listening to the back catalogue of episodes and scooping what was left of my brain and pouring it back into my ear, I awaited each episode with glee. So I have learnt so much from the Black Dog. 1. Never do DIY naked, as it will never end well and can lead to you gluing your arse shut. 2. Never go to Australia, as the facehugger-sized spiders will try and kill you. 3. Thanks to Jim, I know that there's some weird shit going on down in Florida. 4. I was trying to look cool in Judge Dredd or Stormtrooper costumes. It's not practical. 5. If you're in a Dalek, don't expect to ever be fed. Number 6, cats will shit everywhere. Number 7, don't invite Danny Graydon to your podcast because A, the podcast will be so long it'll have to be cut into 2 parts. B, the cast will be so full of libel it'll have to be unbroadcastable. And C, Nazis. So, We all really appreciate what you do, lads, every week, and this cast has had such an impact. It has survived the move from its host site and found a proper home in Geek Planet. It's inspired other people to do podcasts of their own. Hypnobobs, I think, it says, in brackets, and the Shonky Lab, to name a few. Plus, I would never have heard those brilliant casts without you guys anyway. And you also introduced us to the brilliance that was Monster Hunters.
Ah, yes.
The cast continues to be a highlight of my week, guys, and keep up the good work. Lots of love, Bob Lamont. P.S. By the time you read this, it will be my birthday, the 28th of May.
Woo!
Woo!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday to you, sir.
Indeedy, sir.
And rather amusingly, he's obviously assuming that we'll be coasting over to midnight and on to the following day.
Yep.
So he knows us very well. Thank you very much for that, sir. That's very much appreciated. So, who's next? Darren, have you got one? Got feedback?
I certainly have. I've got one here from Chris Johnson.
Yep.
And it's a mail titled Dances with Fern Gully Feedback. Hello, Lee, Darren and Jim. Oh, Lee, Darren, Jim, and whom it may concern. Ooh.
Dum, dum, dum.
I'd like to say congratulations on reaching your 200th episode and to tell you I've enjoyed every single one of them. Keep up the good work, guys. Chris. P.S. And unlike Adrian Mole and James Cameron, I'm not profoundly in love with Pandora.
Nice. Very good. Ah, yes. Well, thank you very much for that, Chris. And Jim, who do you have next?
Next, before I got the next email, another bit of breaking Facebook feedback from Matt Zupka.
Okay.
Who writes,
Yes.
Things that have 200 plus episodes.
Mm.
1. Stargate SG-1.
Okay.
2. The X-Files.
Mm-hmm.
3. ER.
Mm-hmm.
4. The Blackdog Podcast.
Ooh.
One of these things is not like the other, but they are all fine entertainment. Well done, gents.
All of them have a really weird conclusion, though.
Yes.
All of them kind of go off the rails towards the end.
Although only one of them ends up in murder at the end of each episode.
And with that, I'd like to announce I have this knife in my hand. And in the podcast first, Darren, come here.
Anyhow, onto the email feedback from Mr. Joseph Ingram.
Ah.
And he writes,
Yes.
Nowhere bending going on here, then.
No.
I liked it better when it was Fern Gully. Pocahontas is in space with a hint of Dances with Wolves, ball sweat, flown in for good measure.
Nice.
Just get the mind bleach there for a minute. That's about the right pacing for this storytelling. Remember when the Black Dog reviewed How to Train Your Dragon? I mentioned how I prefer serious grown-up animated films with consequences and realistic behaviour patterns. Well, throw that shit out for Avatar. Oh, there's a distant planet where we can mine the shit out of some made-up super material faster than Sappho exploring the Fountain of Youths. But it's inhabited by indigenous creatures who won't let us. Well, given our stellar history of honouring sovereignty and beliefs of others, let's just fuck off, shall we? No, it's not our bag. Oh, wait, I've got a better idea. Since unsuspended disbeliefium isn't alive, how about we just nuke them all from orbit? Or if you're worried about radioactivity, there are always neurotoxins. We know they have remarkably similar neural systems to our own because of that horribly convoluted and fabulously expensive camouflage experiment that you're attempting to show that their neural networks are just like ours. Hell, they even have tail tickles. They're double as erogenous zones, apparently, which allows them to communicate with just about every other organism on the planet, including trees, for fuck's sakes, like some whacked-out gooey USB penis.
And there's the title.
On second thought, I know exactly why they went with the Avatar program instead of wiping the planet clean. The idea of joining elf/cat Saldana in a planetary orgy was too good to pass up. Meow. Bonus, should you happen to introduce a bioengineered STD while licking your own bowl clean, the whole world's yours. To its credit, this was probably the first time that I felt the extra $3 fee for a 3D film was justified, and I admit I found the imagery enjoyable in the theatre. Having said that, there's really not too much to this film. The plot doesn't bother to make sense or follow its own contrivances. A bunch of pretty booms and pterodactyls clog the screen and distract you from the sheer thick-headedness of it all. I find the more I ponder on Avatar, the more my thoughts resemble what I revile so in this film, disjointedness. I'm getting the hell out of here before Trafford Star infects my opinions on aliens and true lies. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Regards, Joe Ingram. P.S. That's a huge bitch.
Thank you very much for that, Joe.
Cheers, Joe.
Very much appreciated. Ah, well, right. Save that. Right. Darren,
Yes.
who do you have next?
We have Mr. Andy Palacides.
Ah, Judge Plastides
No,
himself.
Judge Hood.
Is that a clitoris reference? What?
That is the name on the badge on his outfit.
Oh, yeah, named after the boat, the USS Hood.
That's right, yeah. And Andy
or
writes...
Or it may be a clitoris reference.
Something like that, yes.
Go on, sorry, Gary.
Subject, happy 200.
Hey.
Congratulations on getting to 200, but it will take over 9,000 episodes to get me to watch Avatar. And my favourite moment was Darren forced albatross moment in Twihard episode, and myself and Lee dissecting the works of Joss Whedon to some nobody at the first Blackdog. To some nobody at my first Black Dogmas event. I think that was the first Black Dogmas event, wasn't it?
It was, and that was no, it was. I think it was the.
Was it a second one?
I think it was the second one.
Yeah,
because the first one was your birthday.
That's right.
And then the second one was the one where people got snowed in and others had to buy chains and stuff like that to get their cars out of ditches.
And then the zombie horde turned up, and that
then
was
the
it.
chuds came. Yeah, go on, carry on.
Anyway, he says, and I shall leave you with this festive thought to look forward to over the next 200. If we assume an average running length of 2.5 hours per cast, then Lee and Darren will have been talking for approximately 400 hours or 16 and a half days come Tuesday. I think there's a quote about an infinite number of podcasters with an infinite number of microphones will record the complete works of Damon Lindelof given enough time. Cheers, guys. Andy.
Thank you very much for that, Andy.
I think that would be they'd write far too much intelligent stuff, actually.
To be quite honest, I would say that if I was forced to read the complete works of Damon Lindelof, I would sooner try and force this iPad up my arse. But there you go. That's just me.
Did David Blaine try to do that once in the middle of fucking Trafalgar Square in a big glass box? I don't know.
Actually, I think he did.
I'm going to take this iPad and shove it right up my ass.
I'm gonna have it.
Wasn't that above the I don't know? Wasn't that one?
Well, actually, speaking of Andy's feedback, just thanks for a second. I did actually do some totting up of some stats.
Oh, good lord!
For the Blackdog, and at the moment, not including this podcast right now, we have talked for 458 hours, 47 minutes, and 46 seconds to date.
Wow.
We've had a grand total of 12 guest co-hosts. We've eaten 102 pizzas. We've drunk 2 whole bottles of tequila, and that was all on the Twihard episodes.
Christ.
Yeah, we did.
Yes.
We did 2 bottles of that.
I thought you were including the 102 pizzas in there as well.
No.
Fuck, we had the munchies that day.
we did, because also on that podcast, the Twilight ones, we also ate 8 Zoom ice lollies. We have in our time attended 8 early preview screenings of films, which also were accompanied by pubcasts. We've run 2 competitions, but only gave out prizes for 1. After Script Sandwich made everyone sick. Jim would have won that one as well, strangely enough. And we've actually recorded one man peeing live on the cast. Out of the 12 Thunderdomes that we've had on the cast, I've only won one of them. We've had over 115 shitty superheroes, and we've drunk in tea. We've had approximately 800 cups of tea.
Blimey.
Yeah. Now, better than that, guess how much that is? That's nearly 400 litres of tea
over
the course of this podcast. and we've eaten nearly 6 yards of Jaffa cakes. So there you go.
Good Lord.
200 episodes of shitty diet. And if anyone wants to know why we died of a heart attack and our blood is being siphoned off by Lurpak, that's the reason right there. But anyway, thank you very much for that, Andy. And our next piece of feedback is from Phil Bellamy. And Phil writes, "Greetings, Lords of the Blackdog. Congratulations on reaching 200 mark on one of the best casts in the world." Oh, thank you very much. Now I have to give credit to the Shonky Lab, though, as because of them, I discovered the Blackdog, and my week isn't complete without it. As much as we all joke, the show you produce is brilliant, and I genuinely look forward to listening to it. Blimey.
Which Blackdog podcast is that you're listening to?
I was going to say, that isn't that one we used to try and overtake on the Facebook group with the was it the Wonder Dog, was it?
I think it's
Do you remember that?
It's the Swedish house band.
Oh, the Swedish house mafia band, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Anyway, he says, now getting on to my favourite moments from the past 200. Well, having my feedback read by Mr. Moon is definitely a highlight so far. But in all seriousness, I don't have a particular favourite cast, but a few things that stick in my mind. The Carry On Screaming one with added sound effects was hilarious and had me trawling the internet for weeks looking for Carry On soundboards. The Batman and Robin episode was brilliant for obvious reasons, and I did love the Star Wars Holiday Special one too. As for Avatar, there are a few good things I can pick out of it. The opening of the film with the Marines all waking up does feel like a homage to Aliens. Also, if you've brought the new TV and want to show off your new Blu-ray stereo system, the film does still look good and sound pretty good on a decent system. Actually, screw that. Pacific Rim would be better. That's all I've got on Avatar. It's not something I'd watch again for a very long time. But again, well done on getting to 200, and here's to another 200. Lots of love, Phil Bellamy. Thank you very much
cheers,
for that,
Phil.
sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else got any more feedback before I move on to my one?
No, I've got Mr. Martin Thompson.
You do.
Regular
sir.
long-time feedbacker.
Excellent.
And he writes, "Good evening, Lee, Darren, Jim, and any special guests. Happy 200th episode. I can't remember which episode I first heard, but when the podcast came to Geek Planet, I tried out the ones with films I had some knowledge of, like the Monty Python film cast, the Doctor Who special, and the original Star Wars trilogy. It was one of those podcasts I never listened to regularly until about 3 years ago. Of course, I found that actually watching the films before helps a lot. Now, the podcast is a regular Thursday listen for me on my commute and a highlight of the week.
Oh.
There have been many great moments over the years, and the Black Dog has a high quality of parody song, especially when using an established song to fit that week's movie. I think my favourite time was the review of the Marvel movies leading up to the release of the Avengers in 2012. Anyway, on to this week's film, Avatar. I saw this film once before, and it didn't make much of an impression. I think we can all agree that it is very pretty. The film's visuals are amazing, and Cameron has created a wonderful alien landscape full of weird and wonderful creatures. It is a really long film, and it tends to drag once we get past the first hour. The environmental message is hammered home, and it does get too emo for my liking as we get near the end. There are some really nice world touches, though, such as Grace asking for a cigarette when she gets out of her link, and people still having problems with technology. To be honest, I didn't hate this film. The concept is good, it has nice visuals and great design, but it's just too long and lays on the sentiment too much. I doubt I would seek it out to watch again. Cheers, Martin.
Thank you very much for that, Martin, and thank you
cheers,
for your
fella.
best wishes as well. And I'm sure we'll meet in a pub very soon, and I shall buy you a drink for those kind words, sir. Hopefully we didn't offend you too much with the Doctor Who special back on episode 6, because we got a bit out of control with that, I think. But anyway, right. Well, thank you very much again. And now on to the next piece of feedback, which is from Michael Cornett, the writer of the blog dustandcorruption.blogspot.com. And he writes, the belly stapler, by the way. I should have mentioned that, because we should be mentioning the superhero names. The belly stapler. And so he calls this, his subject is Blavatard. And he writes, Good evening, Lee, Darren and Jim. Brackets, is the fourth chair here tonight? Consider him greeted if they are. Anyway, in honour of your 200th episode, please allow me to be serious and a bit mushy for the moment. In late September 2013, I moved into a new apartment in the new city. And the day after I'd finished moving in, my father died, and I had to scramble to go to the funeral and comfort my mother. And then, when I got back into my new place a week later, my car broke down completely. So October through to March were lost in a haze of stress and other feels, and sometimes I barely knew the walls from the ceiling. Soon into my lost months, as I call them, I found the Blackdog, and the laughs and sheer utter nerdery helped me get through that dark time. So thank you, gents, from the bottom of the cesspool that it passes for my heart. But enough of the mush, time to pick up the stapler. Avatar. Ugh! This was the movie to see, and everyone was wetting their pants over this. I actually missed it, and I'm the only just catching up to it now. I'm sure it's an amazing visual experience, as it really looks like they spared no expense on the FX and the 3D photography. But a film has to hold up in all departments, especially when it comes to 3D in the big screen. When Avatar is watched on a small screen in 2D, what you get is just a boring, predictable mess of cliches that also pushes the troublesome notion that all white male American can always be the saviour of whatever race he decides to go native with. And he's always a better native than the natives. Racism ahoy! Plus, he always gets to nail the daughter of the Grand Poobah. And there's always a specially fierce beast to conquer that make your mount. Good fucking lord, this kind of thing has been written about for over a century, and we've seen it all before and all done better. I'm an environmentalist, but the gushing, tree-hugging Gaia theory posturing in this makes me want to dump chemical waste. Not to mention how many freaks out there who now have a Navi fetish. Have you seen the Navi fleshlights?
What?
Google it. Go for it. That's your job.
Oh,
I'm not doing it on this phone.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
To Google Navi fleshlights. Is it just a braid of hair? But anyway, despite all its pretensions and aspirations, this is just a special effects driven extravaganza with all the depth of the average bird bath. All the more annoying as it keeps insisting it's really deep and meaningful. That's all, gents. Thanks for the fun and keep it going. Happy 200th. Michael Belly Stapler Cornett. Thank you very much for that, Michael, and thank you for the really kind words at the beginning there before the belly stapling. It's good to know that it was all down and we helped make it slightly better. Though actually I was thinking at one point, it was like car broke down, father died, things were going bad, new place, and then you found us and you really hit rock bottom. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's good. It's really nice to read, actually. That's really cool. Thank you very much.
Kind of stuff that makes it all worthwhile, really, when you hear stuff like that.
It does, but then if we start saying things like it makes it all worthwhile, it makes us sound really fucking pretentious.
Not really. It's it's nice to know that in
I get it.
some unexpected way that the sort of things we do. Just us, just having a laugh is somebody else finds it funny as well, and it brings them out of whatever it is they're going through at the time. Good stuff.
Yeah,
that's very good. Yeah, it's very touching.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Darren, for making it clear. Thank you for Jim for saying that, and thank you to me for not sticking my foot in my mouth trying to.
That's what we're here for.
I'm trying to enjoy a joke.
I've got the catcher's mitt ready.
Right. Okay. Well,
we've got some more Facebook feedback just in.
Go on, Jim.
From Lee, the Latinator, Boziolan, who writes 200.
Is he feedbacking on?
Shit, I'm only on episode 10.
I was going to say, it's not his feedback for Blade Runner, is it, by any chance, at last?
Oh, dear. Sorry, Jim, carry on.
That was it.
Oh, is that it? Yeah. I still haven't heard his podcast reviewing, Snoop Dogg's horror film that we set him as a challenge, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm waiting that with bated breath.
He thinks we've forgotten.
Yeah, he thinks we've forgotten. He did cover a little bit of it in his last podcast, but, I'm looking for the real full-blown special, make all the members of the cast watch it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. he made over 100 and odd people watch fucking Split Second. He deserves to inflict the whole thing on his cast.
Yep. And watch how his team slowly falls apart.
Yes, as they all abandon him and then come back with sticks and beat him to death. Anyway, thank you again, Michael. Thank you, Boz. And now on to our last piece of written feedback. Unless, of course, something turns up on Facebook. Jim, keep an eye on it. It's like you're like one of that crowd in the back of those old sort of 80s telethons answering the phones.
Like Mike Smith on Ghostwatch.
Mike Smith on Ghostwatch, yeah. There you go, sitting in the back. Oh, we've got another phone call from a lady in Deptford who said that her towels have fallen off the rails. Yeah. Anyway,
and her supplies of deep heat have vanished.
Yes.
She's found sequins on the floor and she has no idea where they came from. She's worried about her old mother. She can hear some strange knocking noises from upstairs.
Normally she takes the teeth out, but we can't. Oh God, that was going to a very dark place. Pull up.
Oh God, I've got an image. Get it out of my head.
Mind bleach. Cue the mind bleach. Anyway, moving on. Our last piece of written feedback is from Jack P. Starro, who writes the subject, "I claim this bunker in the name of Iowa." And he says, "Dear Blackdoggers, happy 200th episode. It's quite an achievement, boys. While I sadly haven't listened from the very beginning, I do feel quite settled in now, and I think you deserve a round of applause, and I mean that sincerely, lads. That said, yeah, this is going to be a rough episode. Avatar, Avatar, Avatar. Wherefore art thou, Avatar? Knowing in advance how hard Lee is going to at least try and pillory this, I almost don't have the strength to bother offering any semi-defence of it, since I know it will fall on fairly deaf ears. Good. That'll be the end of that then. Anyway. Also, there's so much I could say about it, and I don't know where to draw the line on my dread in conclusion, or in concision. I wish that softly spoken chap who did the bullshit analysis feedbacks would chime in here. That would be Evil Dave of the Inside Outcast.
Yes, it would.
Yeah, because I feel like this is a movie that merits a lot of really layered analysis and discussion, as I feel that many people are, or were, either rabidly pro or anti-Avatar factions, which I feel is a bit limiting. Well, not really limiting if they really don't like it or they really do. But I think we covered most of it. But, you know, let's carry on. He continues, because I indeed neither love nor hate this movie, and I certainly don't have the reaction of aggressive meh either. I enjoyed it at the time, but it didn't strongly stick with me, and I pondered a lot over the politics in this film for a brief while afterwards, and then I was intrigued by the raft of plagiarism accusations from the more obscure sci-fi, but then I thought a little more about it. So watching it again, it was an interesting experience for me, as I've not seen it in the cinemas, but I have recently been to something of a micro retrospective of James Cameron, showing my dad the Terminator films for the first time, and rewatching The Abyss, about which I've already written my feedback, so when you cover it later. Watching Avatar again in that light, without whiz-bang benefits of 3D experience, I was able to focus more on the film than the filmmaking, if you catch my meaning. Yes. Anyway.
Yes.
Is this a good film? Yes, I think it is, by any reasonable measure. Is it a great film in the annals of smart sci-fi action movies of which Cameron is famed? Maybe not. But I don't think that it's a film that should be dismissed as style over substance. No, it's not style over substance, is it, really? It's just style and kind of bland substance. Not enough substance holding the style together. But anyway, sorry, carry on.
I think it's the style that's, you know, putting the twinkly edges on whatever substance is there.
Yes.
To try and make it look a lot more, you know?
Yeah.
It's like trying to put corn flour in soup to try and thicken it up, you know?
That's a better analogy than your...
I don't know where the fuck I was going earlier
star
on.
in a Twix, or whatever the fuck that was.
Yeah.
Your neutron star in a Twix. But anyway, moving on, he says, a common criticism is also that they put too much effort in designing and executing this deeply immersive alien world and culture that is there was little commensurate effort put into the story, which is a thin, pale love story about characters we don't care about. I can see this as a basis for an argument, but whether you care about the characters is subjective, and I think it depends on your tolerance for cliché and expectations for relative complexity. There's no denying that this is a very simple story which draws on some very elementary ecological political themes, and they are painted with very broad brushstrokes. For some, the pro-Aboriginal, nature worship, tree-hugging, anti-colonial ethos which this film unambiguously champions over the technocratic military-industrial complex is going to divide some people. The abundance of so-called hippie crap was something the studios asked Cameron if he could dial back when he pitched the project, to which he countered that it would defeat the purpose of making the film in the first place. So it is excessively partisan, sentimental, and even a bit twee. Maybe, but I'm not sure. But I wonder if this kind of post-colonial storytelling plays a bit differently in countries like America and Australia, where socially disadvantaged, genocidally displaced indigenous populations are still struggling for rights and respecting their traditional lifestyles in harmony in nature. Maybe, but I can't speak for others. But I can say that I found it difficult to simply dismiss these kinds of issues as hackneyed old tosh. What I do think one has to consider, though, is the fact that while a lot of these issues may be very simplified old hat to us, perhaps we are not the target audience for this movie. If, as I suspect, this film is really aimed at older kids and teenagers, I think there's something to be said for a good bit of populist fantasy storytelling to introduce a bit of good old lefty environmentalism and post-colonial guilt to supple young minds who have perhaps never emotionally engaged in these kind of issues. Then again, one can't ignore, however, the fact that this story is written by an expat Canadian middle-aged white male, nor the rather obvious use of tribal American, African, Aboriginal, Australian, Native American imagery amidst all the radical alien designs, and especially not the fact that this story is practically inviting comparisons to Dances with Wolves and various other stories of its ilk, in which white man goes native couples with awkward mighty whitey trope, whereby white guy who goes native turns out to be better at doing this native stuff than the natives themselves and becomes their leader, inadvertently suggesting that even when surrendering to the ways of the so-called primitive, in rejection of corrupt Western society, the white man is still inherently superior. So yeah, I'm certainly not saying that any of this stuff is not problematic. In fact, I think it's quite problematic. And also I think it's extremely interesting to be telling a story in these times in this way. Indeed, this collision of alleged hippie crap and the very aliens reminiscent aspects of Cameron's conversely obvious hard-on for the army and designing military hardware kind of makes this film the ultimate manifesto of James Cameron. Do we like that manifesto? Maybe not. But even if our catch cry is inevitably going to be, damn it, Jim, I liked your old stuff better than your new stuff, it's fascinating to me to see how all these thematic threads have persisted throughout Cameron's career. Because even if this is arguably not strong storytelling, it's certainly an absorbing film. I'm perplexed by anyone who finds it boring unless they're simply turned off by the aesthetics or the politically hostile to the message. For me, this isn't exactly my sort of thing, but I'm more of a shiny spaceships or craggy sword and sandals kind of guy, and even I can't help but be beguiled by imaginative and frankly beautiful this alien world looks. I was surprised by the second viewing in 2D after several years had so rich an impact on me. And I also can't deny that the action is extremely impressive. With some air...
Hey, wouldn't be chewing without a good kick of the mic stand.
Nice.
I just scratched the back of me and put me arm down.
I was going to say...
the pop shield. So.
Yeah. And you know what I've done?
What have you done?
I've just wiped chili in my eye. Oh... Jesus.
I don't know whether that's it's thankful that you did that before going to the loo.
Fuck.
You could hear the screams from here.
Ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, we had a pizza beforehand, celebratory one, and I had a beef sizzler, and from the feel of it, I've left a bit of chili on my eye. No, you carry on eating pizza, Dale. Don't get up or help me or anything. No.
Do you want some water?
Fuck off.
Do you want some? Would you like some? I'll put some milk in your eye.
Fuck you, you dick. Great.
I'm sure Darren Diamond can help you put some milk in your eye.
I don't want any of that milk. Thanks very much. I want moo milk, not man milk.
You want man milk, do you?
No, I don't want man milk. Oh, my fucking eye. Ow. can't.
Seriously, do you want to stop for a minute? I think you better do an albatross. Just do an albatross. Do an albatross.
There will now be a short intermission.
Albatross! 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 Course you don't get bloody wafers with it!
Right, I'm back. Okay, so I didn't do anything to myself in the week, but I did manage to do it in the middle of the podcast for your delectation and delight, and my eye still fucking hurts. So now, without any...
very Nick Nolte over there.
And now, without any depth perception, I continue Jack's feedback. Where are we? Actually, where the fuck am I? There we go. Right, he says, because even if this is arguably not strong storytelling, and it's certainly an absorbing film, and I'm perplexed by anyone who finds it boring unless they're turned off by the aesthetics or politically hostile to the message. For me, this isn't exactly my sort of thing. I'm more of a shiny spaceships, craggy sword and sandals landscapes kind of guy, but even I can't help but be beguiled by how imaginative and frankly beautiful this alien world looks. I was surprised by the second viewing in 2D after several years had such a rich impact on me, and I also can't deny that the action is extremely impressive, with some great aerial sequences that are almost as good as those in How to Train Your Dragon from a few weeks ago. Isn't that damning with faint praise? But anyway. And you know what? I'd be lying by omission if I didn't admit that I think Zoe Saldana as Neytiri is not only an engaging character, but a damn fucking sexy bit of all-lithe blue cat skin glory. Blue cat lizard glory, sorry. Or maybe I've just got a thing for women who bare their teeth and snarl ever since Sigourney Weaver did it in Ghostbusters. Oh, and I totally give that blue puss version of Sigourney a proper scene too as well, but now you mention it. Okay. So, for all my qualified...
You need the Navi fleshlight.
Yeah, I was going to say, back to Michael.
Available now from Ronco.
From Wanko.
You can't buy this in the shops.
Because
Depends which shops you go to.
Yeah.
Probably that one that had the tramp outside with the dildo.
Oh,
maybe.
God, yeah, the one with the black dildo. Attacking me with a black dildo. Oh, God, I remember that, yeah.
See from Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels.
Oh, yeah, beating...
Barry the Baptist.
Anoints him and beats him to death with a black dildo. Anyway, so... we've gone way off track with this feedback. So, for all my qualified praise, is this still not a movie I love? But it's one that I enjoyed a lot more than I was expecting. I would, upon revisiting it, as in recent years, I think I've had osmosed a lot of geekosphere cynicism about it and potential sequels. Ultimately, I think it comes down to two questions for me. This is a film largely constructed of tropes. Are the tropes inherently bad? And is this film actually trying to be a sophisticated sci-fi movie for the thinking man, or is it predominantly aimed at children and teenagers? If so, is that really a problem? For me, personally, I think the answer to both questions is, well, no. Keep up the good work, guys. One of my favourite podcasts of all, and it keeps getting better. Looking forward to your 300th if we all live that long. Love and hot blue pussy cats. Jack. Thank you very much for that, Jack.
Cheers, Jack. We've got one just in, by the way.
What?
On the Facebook group.
Okay.
All the way from Queensland in Australia, yeah. Steve Murray.
And
Steve writes, congratulations on 200 episodes, guys. I remember the first few episodes I ever listened to while I played long hours of Fallout 3. It was the first podcast I ever really listened to. You guys broke my podcasting cherry and never called me afterwards or even stayed to cuddle.
Oh.
Still, congratulations, guys, and here's to many, many more.
Thank you very much for that, Steve. And
Steve Murray, we've had him.
Yeah, we've had him. He was shit. No. No, I have to say there was a piece of feedback he sent years ago, or a couple of years ago, over Facebook, and I never read it out, and I really regret that. But basically, he was saying like how he was listening to us while on a really bumpy plane ride. and he wanted to thank us for basically keeping his mind off of impending death while in a speeding torpedo through the sky.
Fantastic.
But yes, thank you very much for that, sir. And going back to Jack's feedback for a second, the "it's for kids" excuse doesn't fly for me, because if it was for kids, then you wouldn't have full-blown shagging all over it, and you wouldn't have like hardcore kill everyone, action, death, destruction, fucking Bowie knives and all that kind of stuff. And you wouldn't have smoking as well, which seems to be a big no-no these days. So personally I just think it's like The Abyss. It's not really aimed at kids, but it's at a rating where kids can watch it.
By the way, have you all seen the I think it's the Simpsons Treehouse of Terror, where they do an actual Avatar parody?
No.
And you know that you've got the guy, the Sergeant Major, who jumps inside the robot suit?
Yes, Quidditch, or Quiddark, or whatever his fucking name is. There's
a scene where he's actually talking to the troops in that, and then he goes into battle and his robot suit jumps inside another robot suit.
Oh, I don't remember that now. Yes. That's a flashback.
But that's the thing about that as well. What is the practicality of having a robot that needs to have its own penknife and like gun? Why hasn't it got this shit built into it? You know,
because
cutbacks.
I don't know. Yeah,
because shut the fuck up. That's why.
Oh yeah, it's the same. Yeah, it's the same reason as why you don't see people standing in that thing when the action's going down, because they would look fucking ridiculous pretending to hold a gun.
But you see him doing that when he's walking. There's one part where it actually shows inside a cockpit of a soldier walking in one of these things, and he's actually got his hands in the shape of the rifle.
Yeah,
and turns to shoot. He's going pew pew pew, and that's what actually fires the gun. It's a voice command.
Pew pew pew.
Yeah, pew pew pew.
Right. Okay. Anyway, moving on. Thank you very much for the feedback, Jack. Sorry for the dramatic, eye-watering situation, which is still troubling me right now.
Still looking like Popeye.
It does. It fucking hurts, dude. And yes, thank you for the best wishes for the 200th episode. And yes, keep sending the feedback in. I wish I'd concentrated a little bit more rather than screaming about my eye. There you go. I mean, am I the only person who didn't find Zoe Saldana as a lanky morph particularly attractive?
I think so.
You did.
Yes, I thought. Yeah, I can see where he's coming from on this. A lot of them, you sit there watching these films where the hero falls in love with the alien lady, who's actually like a jelly with pipes coming off of her or something. Like, no, that ain't gonna work. Then again, in the moment, whatever, you just go with it sometimes. What can I say? But no, I actually thought, there was something about her. It's just something a bit. She's got the human element in there, of course.
She's the character who really works.
Yeah,
she has charisma, and as we point out, she is the best realised and the best designed, and she's one of those most cat-like as well. Where the others not. I mean, her boyfriend is kind of, that one seems to be drifting into frog territory. Frankly, his eyes seem to be trying to compete with his ears to get on the side of his head.
I do like that bit where sort of like she says to the hero, you'll be wanting to choose a mate soon. We have many fine women in our village. But she should have added on the end, but none of them as well animated as me.
Yeah, some of them need.
They're all stock footage.
Some of them need some texture work.
Exactly.
Actually, I couldn't keep. I watched an episode of Family Guy the other night.
Yeah.
Before watching this, which ruined it for me, because there was an aside where Peter talks about the fact that he's, there's nothing he hasn't seen. He used to be Uma Thurman's eye adjuster on the set of
the eye wrangler.
Eye wrangler. And you just see her eyes kind of slowly separating away from her body, and then he just comes in and just pushes them back in with his fingers. And I just thought that was all I kept thinking of when I was watching the Navi. It's just like, there's got to be an eye wrangler sort of just slowly putting those cat eyes back. But anyway, has anyone Googled up the Navi fleshlight yet?
I am not doing it on my phone.
Oh, for God.
There's a link.
The
on
NSA
the
can
Skype.
trace this sort of
There's
shit.
a link
now.
on Skype. Oh, Jim, you shouldn't have.
No, really, you shouldn't.
It was only a matter of time.php, it says.
It's not a request.
Navi fleshlight. Oh, my God.
Jesus H. Christ, you're fucking having a laugh, aren't you?
They do vampire and zombie ones as well, I know.
What?
And a xenomorphy one, I believe.
I've
seen in previous horrendous links.
Oh, my God, they've done it.
A xenomorph fleshlight.
Yeah, it's basically John Hurt's face. But yeah, the Navi fleshlight's quite interesting because they've done a cross section of it, and the actual tube entrance is actually the hair braid.
Oh, shut it!
No,
What?
look, there it is. Look, it's the hair braid. You stick your dick in the tentacle, as it were.
That's far too much of an attention to detail. What the fuck is that? Is that a V shape?
Yeah, that's a V-shaped foo-foo.
Right.
I don't think there's enough mind bleach in the world to save me from that one.
No.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Michael Cornett. Thanks, everyone. Okay. Oh dear.
There we go.
Yeah. So, on to the MP3 feedback for the evening. And, the first piece of MP3 feedback comes from Mr. Pete Hammond. And let's hear what Pete has to say about Avatar. Or maybe not.
Hello, esteemed gentlemen of the Blackdog. Pete Hammond here, leaving feedback for Avatar. Well, first of all, may I just say, fuck you for making me watch this cunting bastard of a mess of a bastard film again. I saw this in the cinema and I really fucking wish I hadn't. Mainly because it taught me that I cannot watch 3D movies at the cinema. It gave me a splitting bloody headache just from the visuals from the 3D that I couldn't shift for 3 days. And the bastard was so fucking long, it gave me cunting piles. A fucking terrible film. And then I have to sit for it again. Only this time, it wasn't quite so bad, because A, I could sit on my own sofa, which is quite comfortable, and B, I didn't have to watch it in 3D. So at least I got the nice, pretty colours without your 80% or 30% or whatever the fuck it is light loss from watching it through those bastard glasses. Christ, I hated this film. And not just because it's the Smurfs in space, Pocahontas on drugs and all the rest of it, as and the Return of the Jedi. It's just there's not one single redeemable original factor in the entire bloody thing. It's just rubbish. I mean, yes, it looks pretty. There's fuck all else to it, though. Bloody terrible. I've got into so many arguments with people who just like, oh, it's just really good sci-fi. No, it's not really good sci-fi. It's really good Disney fucking movies. It's really good stuff nicked from everywhere else. And that bit where they sit around the bloody tree. When I was there, my girlfriend at the time turned to me and just whispered in my ear, "Oops, upside your head." And that was it for me. It was a rowboat pub game. Rubbish. Absolutely fucking terrible. It's a robot with a knife. I like a good mech. That wasn't a good mech. It was pointless. And don't get me started on the fucking biology of the animals. There's a reason why horses have only got 4 legs. The biology and the physics just will not take something with 4 forelegs like that. Bloody ridiculous. And what's with their hair? Is it a cock? Jesus Christ. And as one final point on the unoriginality of the whole bloody thing, unobtainium. If any of you own a pair of Oakley sunglasses, look at the label, look at the box, look at like the instructions. Put these on your face. You will see on the blurb saying how wonderful these glasses are that the little rubbery bits that go on the nose and on the ear, on the arm bits that stick them to your face, that's called unobtainium, and has been since the mid-80s when they first started making sunglasses. Oakley first started making sunglasses. So he couldn't even get that fucking original. Oh, bloody. And I don't quite know what happened to some of the actors. I mean, Sigourney Weaver is usually fucking brilliant. Giovanni Ribisi, I think he's usually pretty cool. But then the rest of them, you've got a character vacuum that is a dickhead out of bloody Terminator. What's his name? Can't think of the cunt's name now. Oh, it's just made me angry talking about it again. Bollocks to it. Christ. Right, well, that's me done. That's my feedback. Measured as always. Cheers, lads.
think he... Oh, is he gone? Yeah, right, okay. I don't think he liked this film.
No.
I'll be honest with you. Do you know what, though? You know what I would say? I'd say if I ever died in a car crash, or if I was unable to perform on this podcast ever again, but you wanted to carry on, get him in. He'd quite easily fill my boots, I suspect.
You could regenerate into him.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe he's my future self. maybe I am going to regenerate. Maybe I'm going to die of a heart attack from that pizza that's burning slowly through my eye socket, and be reborn as Pete.
If he has a flair for DIY, it could be true.
Exactly. Well, maybe he has, maybe he hasn't. We shall maybe find out in this next piece of feedback, which happens to be from a Mr. Pete Hammond, because he sent in some more. So let's hear if he's taking a chill pill or whether or not he's calling us asking for bail from a nearby police station.
Sam Worthington. That's his name, Sam Worthington. Bloody terrible in anything he does. Anyway, this is a little bit of additional feedback to my earlier rant about Avatar. Essentially, on repeated viewing of this film, it commits what I would consider, for me personally anyway, the greatest cinematic crime, in that it was just boring. Despite all the, flashy 3D and all the rest of it, I just found it exceptionally dull. There were no characters that stood out, no acting performances that really stood out. The use of 3D, again, 3D is something that I can't really deal with. I don't think it adds anything to the film. It doesn't take it away either, to be honest, but it just didn't really appeal or add anything to the film, really. It's, as I say, I watched it on my TV, and I was still bored by it. I was more impressed with the colour, because obviously I'm not watching it through 3D glasses, so you don't get the light loss, but it was just essentially boring. And for me, that is quite a crime. I mean, I can see that obviously it's one of the most highest grossing films ever, but at the end of the day, it was just a tech demo. Look what we can do, and films in the future are going to be doing this sort of thing. So I think they just basically spent all their time and effort and money on making it look good and forgot to sort of make anybody act or have any part of an original story. But it's a shame, really. It could have been something good, but as it was, it just turned out to be deeply irritating, as did everybody who had those avatars on their Facebook profiles. Go to one of these things, I think you can do it for the same for Simpsons characters. This is what I would look like in Avatar. Okay, fine, fair enough. Give me enough time and enough time to punch you in the face enough, and I will make your nose go flat, possibly make your eyes go wider. Your face will certainly go blue, and that's what you look like. I found those people deeply irritating, so apologies if anybody listening is one of those people that have that, but I just found all that sort of stuff really irritating. But, yeah. Anyway, guys, well done and congratulations on reaching 200 episodes. It's quite an achievement for a film podcast, if you're not Mark Kermode. So, yeah, well done, lads. And here's to 200 more. Cheers.
Thank you very much for that, Pete. Yes, the second piece of feedback from Pete. Yes, like I say, I do think he's me. I think he's my Tyler Durden back from the future. But there you go. So, yes, and I believe we're meeting him down at the Shindig, aren't we, Dal?
Yeah, we are, actually.
Yeah.
We did actually say, or I did mention to him that he should be the bodyguard, or should say the bouncer on a door from his exploits at the local gym.
Oh, yes.
Where he's been bringing some home truths to certain individuals.
Yes.
who just really, really are asking for a smack round the head with a fucking dumbbell.
Nice. Oh, well, there you go. See, he's definitely me.
Oh, he's definitely, yeah. Definitely.
Or I'm definitely him. I don't know.
But, any violence that they do meet has been well deserved.
Oh, right. Lovely. No, I do like that avatar for Facebook thing. That's, yes.
Yes.
Deeply, deeply irritating. Not quite as irritating as the jalapenos oil, which is still slowly burning into my eye. But irritating nonetheless. So, before I need to go to the opticians or
A&E,
or an A&E, depending on how you look at it, which I can't because I've got no fucking depth perception. Let's move on to the last piece of feedback. The last piece of feedback is from Anne-Marie and Peter Organ, aka the Orgs, who do the wonderful Orgcast, which is the Star Trek, Next Generation and Deep Space Nine podcast, which you can find on geekplanetonline.com and on iTunes. So, did they bother to watch Avatar, or did they
just get drunk?
Just get drunk. Let's find out now.
Hello, chaps.
Hello.
Happy 200th.
Yay!
We didn't see Avatar, I'm afraid.
No, it would have cost us money.
Yes. I almost went to see it at the cinema, then it snowed, and I saw that as an act of God, and I've kind of avoided it ever since, really. But thank you very much for all your energies and efforts in the past 200 podcasts to keep us entertained. Much appreciated. Always gives us a good laugh.
It does.
For some reason, the things that stick in the mind tend to be the things Lee has done to himself over the years.
Copy decks up the arse.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Bollocks in the air blade.
Yeah. Accidentally drinking baby oil.
And you're just the gift that keeps giving with the stepping on a nail and hopping around. Oh, you poor sod.
Up the nose.
Oh, dear.
Yes.
And thank you for your singing talents.
Oh, yes.
As well. Always brings a smile to the face.
Yes.
I dread to think how much time and energy goes into that. Thank you. It's much appreciated.
Yes, yes.
And now we get double the Jim as well.
Yes.
So we are very fortunate indeed. So, yes, happy 200th, and long may the Church of the Blackdog continue to shine forth in the darkness of this scary world. Amen, brothers.
Oh, my word. Thank you, guys. That's very kind of you to say. And
thank you very much.
There you go, Jim. You got a nod. After all. Yeah. You've only been sending your feedback in since episode 50, but it's finally recognition. But cool. Thank you very much for that, Anne-Marie. Thank you very much, Pete. And maybe we'll be singing your praises when the Orgcast reaches 200. Yes, and that won't be long, I can't imagine. And good, thank you. I don't know. I'm just rambling now. Anyway, like I say, you can hear Anne-Marie and Pete talking Star Trek and all things Star Trek and getting anal about spaceships. Yes, I did say that. On the Orgcast, which is on Geek Planet Online and on iTunes. Right, that's it then. So, a couple of things. We got to wrap it all up. Firstly, this cast is now officially as long as the movie we've been reviewing. And secondly, we're going to announce our fourth chair. Who are we having on from next episode, which will be 201, which will actually be on the 10th of June. We're taking next week off, but the 10th of June. And we will be joined almost semi-permanently. I say semi-permanently because he's already made all sorts of caveats about getting called off for work and all that kind of stuff, but bingo cards and what have you.
Bingo.
Fucking bingo. By Mr. Elton McManus. Elton McManus will be our fourth chair. And you can treat him like your bitch, Jim. You can make him go first on everything, make him go last on everything if you like. Go on.
Of course, it does mean that we've now got enough players to play the Beatles game. The guitar one.
What?
Rockstar. We can all take an instrument each now.
No.
We could do that for a podcast, actually.
Well, then,
attempting to play the game while reviewing films.
No. Jim will
it evens up the odds for Thunderdome, though.
Well, it does, yes, exactly. Now we can start doing Thunderdome again.
We're actually Hungry Hippos.
Maybe that's what we should call it. Instead of Thunderdome, just call it Hungry Hippos.
Hungry Hippos.
What a great way to decide on whose sort of opinion wins out. We get the the sacred hungry hippos, and we play it, and whoever's got the most marbles, their opinion sticks.
No. I'd like to do another one. Whoever punches the hardest wins.
Oh, well, that's Jim then.
Whoever fights dirty enough to throw their own chair at someone wins.
Jim.
Shit. He's a mean drunk.
He's a dirty fighter.
He's a dirty fighter.
He's like Mr. Kipling. He's a fucking dirty fighter.
You never expected those pies.
Exactly, yes.
Sharp crusts.
I've got your cream filling right here, you slag.
Anyway, so join us in welcoming Mr. Elton McManus to the Blackdog hosting table from episode 201 on the 10th of June. And what film will we be covering on the 10th of June? Well, we've gone from one set of shitty aliens.
Oh, hold on. We have one last birthday message
on
the Facebook.
Okay.
Just appeared from Mr. Jack P. Starrow, who writes, "Hey, looks like we're doing birthday messages, so here's mine. Blackdogging has become a ritual part of my week, and the Facebook group a place of joyful nonsense. I feel in some small way part of an online community, which, as someone who has assiduously avoided chat rooms, message boards, fan rings, or whatever the kids are calling it these days, like the plague, well, it's a pretty new experience for me, and a surprisingly welcome one. So congratulations to you boys. Keep up the good work, and many happy returns."
Thank you very much, Jack.
Indeed.
Thank you, Jim, for spotting it. And yes,
ever vigilant like the monitor of the internet,
like the Mike Smith of the internet. So
that's Mike Reed, isn't it?
No,
the guy that got
no. It's Mike Smith
in Ghostwatch.
Oh, yeah. All right.
So thank you very much for that, Jack, again, and thank you, Jim. And yes. And if you want to take part in this and other things, on the internet, like Jack and everyone else, then go to the Blackdog Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/the Blackdog Podcast.
You've got to announce the film.
Oh, the film.
Yeah,
yes.
The film for next week.
So the film for next week, as I was saying, we went from one set of shitty aliens to another. Well, I say another, but then, this could end up being a Thunderdome. This is the third and last part of a film franchise we've completely covered. In every other episode of the Blackdog has had, we've had this series from the start, since episode 26, I think, which is called Quarantine Laws Are in Place for a Reason. It is the third in the Alien saga, Alien 3. A film by David Fincher. Now, I understand there is a director's cut on the Blu-rays and on the DVDs in the quadrilogy. And if you are going to watch the director's cut, fine. I'm going to watch it because I've never watched it before.
And so am I. And so's my wife.
Yes, exactly. And so, but I already knew what was in it because I read the novelisation. And then I'll speak about that when we do the cast.
Yeah.
So, basically, if you are going to watch it, tell us what version you watched when you send in feedback. So we're going to do Alien 3, which is basically half of all the out-of-work British actors at the time and Sigourney Weaver. So,
Alien 3, there's trouble at Tip Mill.
Yeah. It's Grim Up Fury 161. and if you want to find out what happened to Paul McGann and Charles Dance between sort of like Doctor Who and Game of Thrones, there you go. It's right there. If you want to know why David Fincher has always been covering all of his films in grey and shit, here you go. Yes, and if you really want to see how to fuck up an alien proper, then this is the movie for you. If you want to see how to stuff a fat man into a very thin alien suit in a very unconvincing manner, this is also the film for you. So, just around the table, Darren, what did you think of this when you first saw it?
I think it was a bit of a bit of a non-event, really. I don't remember finding it the best in the Alien series, although there is one particular scene with Brian Glover that always makes me laugh every time I see it.
Shut that ridiculous woman up! There is no such thing as a what?
Yeah, he got his Samuel L. Jackson Deep Blue Sea moment.
Yes.
But I mean, there were all kinds of stories when this came out about things like wooden spaceships and intergalactic monks and stuff like that.
Vincent Ward's version, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad they didn't go with that. And the film wasn't a total loss. I do like the point of view part when the dog burster is doing its thing and it's running through the halls, and you actually see from its point of view. So yeah, it's got some stuff in it that's all right. I like the prisoner with Tourette's as well, the one who's always constantly swearing. Fuck it.
They're all constantly swearing.
No, but him more than anybody else.
Okay, fair enough.
Are
you looking forward to this rewatch?
I'll watch it anyway. It's not something I'm not looking forward to or anything. It's not. I'm not sitting there thinking, "Oh God, I've got to watch Alien 3." I'm going to watch the extended cut on the Blu-rays because, as you yourself have said, I've never seen that one before, and I want to see if it improves the movie at all.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. What about you, Jim?
Well, pretty much along the same lines, really. I saw it at the cinema. I was kind of pleased that they went back to a single alien that was very competent at killing people, rather than Cameron's stupid drones who just saunter up and get blown away like paper soldiers. Yeah. But at the same time, it's kind of like, it's not. It was lacking something, and then when you find out the history of it, you go, "Oh right, oh yes, I can see. I can see now why this isn't kind of, there's good bits and good ideas, but it doesn't quite gel together."
Yeah.
I have seen the extended cut. I might have to try it, but I can't remember which bits are in what now. I might have to watch both again, just to try and separate them.
Oh dear!
But I seem to remember the actually extended cut. Actually, you get more of a sense of kind of the film it could have been. Whereas the last time I watched the theatrical cut when it turned up on TV, I was just going, "Oh dear, this is a dog's dinner."
Yeah,
dog burster's
dinner. Yeah. Though I tell you, if you watch it twice back to back, do have the Samaritans on standby, because I think you'll want to throw yourself under a bus by the end of it.
Well, it's one of the Alien 3 I find is an interesting film, but it's more the story of what went on behind the scenes is actually more interesting than the movie itself.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, 'cause remember when the Quad Diddly Diddly box set came out? I mean, the documentaries on Alien 3 were really, really fascinating.
Yeah.
When you go into all the different concepts and the stages and the people on and off and the rows and the bitching and puppets and God knows what.
My favorite piece of trivia, which was that they couldn't complete the alien rod puppet model, so they ended up. So the way they finished it off was they found a mold of Michelle Pfeiffer's face used for Batman Returns, and they took a mold of her lips, and then used her lips and bottom jaw and a deformed mold to finish off the close up head, which is always my favourite, because it was like. Yeah, that just kind of sums it up, really. It's like, whatever old shit comes to hand, does it fix it? Yes, fantastic, keep rolling.
We'll get it out there on the release date if it kills us.
Exactly.
Or kills you.
Yes, exactly. So, cool. Okay. For me, I mean, obviously I'm a big Alien fan, and I would be remiss in saying that I found it to be an enormous disappointment. I found it. I tried watching it twice at the cinema, because the first time I didn't believe it, and the second time I wish I did. And I got a pirate copy of it from a guy who used to drop off pirate videos at the place I used to work at, and I kept insisting on asking him if he give me a cut version and if there was actually a full version turning up, because I'd read the novelisation, and it turned out he got so irritated he stopped coming. And then it turned out actually the novelisation was the extended cut. So I'm actually quite interested in seeing the extended cut, because it'll be all the bits I know exist, like catching the alien and all that kind of thing. But overall, I find this film a bit like Black Hawk Down. There's a bunch of anonymous bald guys covered in shit shouting, and you don't know any of them. You don't know any of them at all, except for Chris Fairbanks, who I actually used to work with at Cartoon Network doing voiceovers. And he's the first guy who gets shot in the face by the alien spitting acid. And the owner of the dog. But, apart from that, I wasn't particularly pleased with this movie, to say the least. And Killing Newt was a no. And Hicks. I mean, I understand why they did it.
They couldn't afford them.
Yes, exactly. But it undermines everything that Aliens did. And it's the worst kind of sequel. Just undermines everything from the other films. But we shall discuss this more when it comes round to it. So, here we are. Probably the longest podcast we've ever done in a single sitting. Darren's almost unconscious.
I'm almost unconscious.
Yes. And now it is time to go. Thank you so much to everyone for listening to this cast, to the last 200 casts, for all the thanks and best wishes and all putting up with the shit that we've been putting out for the last fucking 475 hours. Just think of all that time you've wasted, all those lives you could have saved, all those things you could have done.
You ain't getting that back.
You ain't never getting it back. No receipt.
Nope.
No receipt, no return. And it really means a lot. It's really cool that people are engaged in this in a way that I didn't actually expect when we started talking a load of old cock on Skype years ago. just because I didn't get to talk to you a lot.
I don't talk to my friend. Let's do a podcast so I can talk to my friend and have an excuse.
Back then, when the podcast was only 50 minutes long and we thought we were doing well.
Do we still have a copy of Blackdog -0?
What?
The one that we first did for somebody else.
Oh, what, the one for Pantechnicon?
Yeah.
I think I might still have it floating about.
You might want to put that out.
What, the one where we had Director's Deathmatch?
I think it was, yeah. It could be a feature we could resurrect.
Director's Deathmatch. Oh,
Director's
my God.
Deathmatch.
Oh, maybe one day.
Was it Joel Schumacher against
George Romero, wasn't
it? That was it, yeah.
But anyway. Well, thank you anyway. Thank you, everyone. It's been great, and hopefully it will still be great, even if this episode isn't. Thank you, Jim, for everything.
My pleasure as always.
Thank you for your continued companionship and feedback and support since episode 50. And yes, it's been good fun.
It's been emotional.
It's been emotional.
It's been real.
It's been real. So, anyway.
As opposed to make-believe.
Exactly. If it was a dream, you could at least wake up and go, fucking hell, thank Christ I never did that.
Nightmare more.
Yeah. So, that's it. Right, we shall see you all next time. Like I say, we'll be back on June the 10th to review Alien 3. Until then, take care and stop listening, because it's fucking going on.
Do something with your life.
Yeah, just think what you could have done by now. Anyway, till next time, see you later.